point cover region. And some innovation from Vasu Shah, unfortunately playing a miss. As Singh again a little bit on the shorter end. 3 deliveries left. RC par score for this game on this pitch. Obviously this is now the 6th game in the 2 days on this same strip.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. The rain seems to help this wicket a lot, actually. Seem to settle down. The rain has settled down this wicket. We saw a little bit of uneven bounce in the first game, but the rain seems to settle down. They got a chance to roll it for quite a while. Manitoba will be looking for somewhere around 150, 160 for sure on this strip. But this is an interesting field for Tajinder Singh as we see him running in here. And Vasu Shah looking to go again, this time wide down the leg side. There's 5 men behind point. A slip, a gully, a backward point, a third man, and a deep point. So again, a very interesting field. And again, Manali, you said back of length, short deliveries. It's not going to take much to be short for these 2 men. Not the tallest of men out there in Vasu Shah and Kamaljot Singh. So Tajinder Singh has got this is going to be a handful, Manali, the number of Singhs out here. We got to make sure we get these names correct. We see Tajinder running in here. This one played down to the offside, managing to come through for a single. And will you see that? It is a no ball. Tajinder Singh's going to have to bowl that delivery again. And Kamaljot gets a free hit out of it. As I was saying, Manali, short of stature, but plenty of power from Kamaljot, as we saw in his earlier innings, launching a few out of the ground, and he's going to be looking to launch this one here as well as a free hit. That single allows them to change the field, however, so we'll see what Kamaljot can do on this delivery. The 2 men out are still at third man and deep point. Slip goes to mid-wicket. Gully goes to cover. It's Kamaljot. This one's pitched up and hit high and far and long over cover. Kamaljot, we said he had the strength and the power, Manali, and he's certainly shown it there as Tajinder Singh pitching that one up and Kamaljot saying, I'm here and I'm going to hit you far. What a shot by Kamaljot Singh.
Yeah, what a shot is right, and all that protection behind point, nothing would have helped that shot. That was hit far and long, and Kamaljot Singh has said, I have arrived and I'm going to continue right where I left off from the game earlier. 1 delivery to go in this over, and Tajinder Singh, he's got to try and bring out a dot ball here if he can. And that's excellent running, just pushed out to point, and Kamaljot Singh calls for a run as they finish their first over. Manitoba, 15 runs for no loss. That's a great start for Manitoba. They are looking to push on as many runs as they can. Of course, we've got 5 more overs of the power play left. Alberta is a very experienced side, and I'm sure Manitoba are aware of that and have done some research on who to watch out for. We'll let you know who the new bowler is from the other end. Yaksh Patel coming in from the commentator's end for his first over. Manitoba, they've started along well. They've faced 1 over of pace, and Alberta introducing spin on the other end. A good change of pace, mixing it up from both ends. And Kamaljot Singh to face the first delivery from Patel.
This one's short, hit high in the air. Matthew Spore's diving effort, unable to reel it in, but does get a hand on it. Kamaljot coming back for 2. All happening in the first few overs here between Manitoba and Alberta. Manitoba off to an absolute flyer, 15 off the first over. 2 runs here on the first delivery for Yaksh Patel. Has represented Canada at the highest level, playing in the Caribbean. As this is Kamaljot getting on one knee, playing this down to fine leg. Tajinder Singh going for the chase, but again, another 2 runs to Kamaljot. This is something that we saw with Kamaljot earlier in the day, Manali. A very busy cricketer, very impressive in his innings so far today. Both the innings that we've seen him, he's been busy. He hasn't gotten bogged down. Not too many dot deliveries. He's always looking for a run. And this is a good start. This is exactly what Manitoba would have been hoping for, winning the toss. 19 for no loss and 1.2. You see this, pitched up, driven back down the ground. Vasu Shah and Kamaljot Singh, again, what they lack in height, they make up for in their ability to run hard between the wickets, maneuver the field. As we see this, and again, a very rare 2-dot deliveries to Kamaljot Singh. Yaksh Patel coming back strong here. The first 2 balls going for 4 runs, 2 off each. The next 2 balls, dot deliveries. He's got to finish this over off strong.
Yeah, good start. 2 deliveries to go. And that is just hoiked down to the mid-on fielder for a single. Again, Kamaljot Singh not looking to get bogged down. It's not always about boundaries, and he knows that. He's able to get off strike and get his partner Vasu Shah on strike for the final delivery from Yaksh Patel. Oh, and that's well bowled, and looking for a single, but deciding not to. Good call in the end, as the ball was quite close and the fielder on it quite quickly. 2 overs gone. Manitoba 20 for no loss. A decent start. They're going at 10 runs and over. As you said, RC, 150, 160 is what Manitoba probably want to try and get on the board to put a little bit of pressure on the Alberta batters. I think with these 2 out in the middle, especially with Kamaljot Singh in the middle, they definitely have a good chance of getting to that. He has quietly worked his way up to 17 off of just 9 deliveries, 1-4 and 1-6 in that. And back into the attack, Tajinder Singh, fairly expensive in his first over, going for 15. And that's again short of a length, and Kamaljot Singh just sees it through. Keeping that off-stump line with his bowling to his field. Two slips in place. And that is struck down to the mid-wicket fielder for a single. Not where Kamaljot Singh intended for it to go. However, it is a run to his name, and he gets off strike to bring Vasu Shah, onto strike.
Yeah, Vasu Shah's got to get going here. He's just 1 run off 4 deliveries. They made full use of the power play earlier in the day, and this one again going for that shot again, and it is a wide from Tajinder Singh. Can't afford to stray down the leg side, and Vasu Shah might be better off just walking across his stumps and looking to play this to the leg side rather than going for that paddle. There is a short fine leg in place. There's enough pace to get it over him, but Vasu Shah needs to be able to rotate the strike. Kamaljot has looked good so far. 18 off 11 for him, 1 off 4 for Vasu Shah. I'm surprised Tajinder Singh gets a second over here, but he is bowling with decent pace. This one is pitched up, driven down. There is a man out there, but he's at the point region. This is going to beat him. This is going to beat him for 4, and Vasu Shah says, Kamaljot, you're not the only one that can hit it along the ground for 4. I'm going to do the same. That's an impressive square drive from Vasu Shah. The man backward of point on the boundary, not able to cut it off. Ramel Shahzad on the boundary there. And again, this is a very interesting field. I mentioned a little bit earlier, Manali. 2 slips in place, backward point, man at third man at deep backward point, who's going a little bit squarer now. Again, no protection on the leg side. A 7-2 field for Tajinder Singh. And this one, he connects. Swing and miss one time, swing and miss two times, swing and miss three times, swing and miss four times. The fifth time it connects for Vasu Shah as he brings up 4 back-to-back boundaries for Vasu Shah. And again, Tajinder Singh a little bit lost. Pitches it up on the offside, goes for 4, goes for the Yorker, goes for 4 again. So again, the keeper going to have a little word with him. He's got to find his length here.
Yeah, absolutely got to find his line and his length. I am just as surprised as you, RC, that he has gotten a second over. Went for 15 in his first, and he's now worked his way up to 25 runs off of just 1.4 deliveries, and Vasu Shah looking a lot more comfortable all of a sudden. Oh, and that's an edge down to fine leg for a quick single for Vasu Shah. Again, not intended for the ball to go there. However, a run is a run, and they're able to get Kamaljot Singh on strike. 1 delivery left in the over. Tajinder Singh's try. He's got to try and get a dot ball out somewhere here. And that's short. Outside off again, and Kamaljot Singh makes the most of it, and he has smashed that over deep extra cover for another 4. He is on fire. Kamaljot Singh definitely not hanging around. Manitoba 35 for no loss after 3, and Kamaljot Singh again 22 off of just 12 deliveries. He's definitely the danger man, RC. Manitoba have a very good batsman in him, and Alberta need to try and get that man back to the pavilion before they've got a very large total on their hands.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned at this stage if I was Alberta. Yes, they've gone off to an absolute flyer, 35 off 3 overs. But we saw Manitoba earlier. They lost wicket in bunches, and that's something that they have to ensure that they don't do in this game. Vasu Shah to face. This one's down the leg side. This is a wide, and it's going to go for extra runs. Running down to the boundary. Can the fielder cut it off? He cannot. So that's 5 wides. Free runs for Manitoba. So again, 5 wides there. Yaksh Patel just losing his line. And again, this is just helping Manitoba here. But as I mentioned, they scored 75 for 1 in that first 6 overs in the first game, Manali. But only managing 149 in their 20. So that's something they have to make sure is they're strong in the power play, but they've got to consolidate and ensure that they get through those middle overs. And one of these two has to bat long and bat deep as we see Vasu Shah going back, playing that out to point. So again, but they've already got 5 runs in this over. So Yaksh Patel has to fight from behind here. He's got to save this over. He bowled a brilliant first over, only going for 5 runs. But that 5 wides doesn't help. And Vasu Shah hitting this down for a single. Manali Kamaljot has been very impressive so far, and I'm sure the selectors are keeping a keen eye on him. He's an important man for Manitoba, and I suspect he might be an important man for Canada in the future.
Yeah, he certainly put on a very strong batting performance, both in the first game and so far in this game. Yaksh Patel coming in for his 3rd, and that's bowled very full in the block hole, and all Kamaljot Singh can do is dig it out for a dot ball. Full again, giving himself some room, and Kamaljot Singh guides that down to the 3rd man boundary. That was very well played late and placed very well. There were 2 fielders there. Unfortunately, he pierced both of them, and that brings up 45 for no loss for Manitoba. This is definitely the start that Manitoba were hoping for, going at 12.27 runs and over. And Yaksh Patel bowls that full, and Kamaljot Singh says thank you very much. I'm going to go over covers, and he has struck that to the covers boundary for yet another 4. Very, very impressed with Kamaljot Singh's batting as he is asking his teammates for the score. 1 run away from bringing up the 50 Manitoba, and very impressive from their batters out there. Vasu Shah playing a supportive role to Kamaljot Singh, who's had a fantastic start to this innings. Yaksh Patel in for his final delivery. Bowled full again and comfortably played out to the offside for a dot ball. 4 overs, 49 runs, Manitoba. RC, this is some fantastic batting from Manitoba. I must say I'm quite impressed with what Manitoba has brought to this tournament, especially being one of the provinces with a fairly small population of cricket players.
Yeah, certainly not one of the sides that you think of when you think of Canadian cricket. But again, they have Canadian prowess in the captain, Jatinder Paul Mataru. But Kamaljot Singh, he's put his hand up in this tournament so far to date and said, selectors, keep a keen eye on me because I am somebody that should be playing at the highest level. As we now see a bowling change for Alberta. Tajinder Singh went for a few, 2 overs for 30. And now it's time for Sukdeep Brar. Again, somebody else that we've seen at the highest level. So Vasu Shah and Kamaljot Singh, they're gotten their team off to a great start. They now have to continue this. They've got 2 overs left in the power play, Manali. They've made 75 this morning. They might be able to increase that score by a little bit this afternoon.
Hey, you might be right. That previous over went for 14 runs, and if they're going at least 10 runs and over from here, they might easily beat that score from their power play overs this morning, as Vasu Shah ready to face Sukdeep Brar. Just pulling out at the end, making sure that he is ready to come in and bowl. Alberta sticking with their spin and pace change up on both ends. However, Manitoba seems to play both ends fairly well. Oh, and that's very well bowled. A play and a miss from Vasu Shah. Just beating the outside edge. Good start for Sukdeep Brar. It is early days in this innings, but they are going at a strike rate of 11.76. If they continue to keep these 2 wickets in hand, they're looking at more than 200. That's some good pace, and that is paddled past the fine leg fielder for yet another 4. Vasu Shah certainly loves that shot. He's missed it the first few times, and the last 2 times that he has tried it, he has connected and he has gotten 4 runs out of it on both occasions. Manitoba bringing their 50 up with that shot. 53 for no loss after 4.2. Sukdeep Brar's got to try and look to bowl on that off stump line, because anything down leg, Vasu Shah is ready to put it away. And as I say that, strays down leg. However, that is caught at short mid wicket, and Vasu Shah, unfortunately a very soft dismissal, has to walk back after what has been a decent innings of 15 off of 12 deliveries. Alberta striking with their first wicket. Manitoba 53 for 1 after 4.3. A wicket at this stage could be something for Manitoba to worry about. However, walking in is Sarbjot Singh, and these two, Kamaljot Singh and Sarbjot Singh, in the morning had a fantastic partnership, and they do communicate very well with each other, and I'm sure they're going to look to do the same in this game. We did, however, see Sarbjot Singh favor that leg side down to cow corner and long on. We certainly hope that he can try and play all around the ground this time around, because that is what led to his demise in the first game. 3 deliveries left in the over, and Sukhi Brar, to bowl to Sarbjot Singh.
And that's edge, and that's dropped at first slip. Manitoba could have lost 2 and 2. Alberta could have had 2 and 2. It's the danger man, Sarbjot Singh. And Sukhi Brar, Canadian international. He handed me the mic, Manali, and I nearly lost my breath with that one, as that was pitched up. It was almost a test wicket there. Pitched up, outside off, getting a little bit of outward movement, as we see now a third, fourth slip coming into play. And this one, again, bowling with good pace here is Sukhi Brar. Kamaljot, alert as ever, looking to sneak a run. Sarbjot not interested. Bowling with good pace here. We see a third man fine leg now in play. They put that fine leg out. That led to the fall of the wicket of Vasu Shah. Mid-wicket in place as well, but the 2 slips now. First slip in regulation, and more of a whitish, almost 4th slip in place as the captain Kanwarman, as we see Sukhi Brar running in here. This one pitched up again. Sarbjot looking to go over the top. Sarbjot not waiting around. This is the power play after all, and he said we're going to get to a score in the power play. But Sukhi Brar, that's a brilliant over from him. The one scoring shot from Vasu Shah, the paddle down, the dill scoop down to the fine leg boundary, but 5 dot balls. As Sukhi Brar finishes his over, 1 for 4 in that over. Manitoba 53 for 1 after 5. As we see another bowling change, it is going to be another Canadian international, Romel Shahzad, to come in to bowl for Alberta, and Kanwarman knows that he needs a second wicket here. This is the main partnership for Manitoba. They'll be looking for one of these 2 to take them to a total. And for Alberta, they'll be looking to break this partnership early.
Sarbjot Singh trying to throw everything to the last 3 deliveries that he faced, and unfortunately the first one almost ended very, very badly. The next 2 deliveries, a play and a miss. I think he's just come out to bat. He needs to try and understand that his batting partner Kamaljot Singh is going very well. He's got to try and just get off the mark, get his partner on strike. And that's pitched full, and oh my dear, Kamaljot Singh says thank you very much. I'm going to go over your head and pick up another boundary. This is some very, very clean hitting from Kamaljot Singh, and he's now on 34, just off of 17 deliveries. Manitoba 57 for 1. Not the greatest start to Shahzad's over. That's full again, and that looks to be miscued and is comfortably taken. Mid-off, getting right under there, and unfortunately Kamaljot Singh can't capitalize on that as Romel Shahzad picks up his first wicket. Kamaljot Singh's going to be disappointed with that. He had a similar outcome in the first game, going well, threw his wicket away, and unfortunately doing the same this game. He has to walk back for 34 off 18. Definitely gave Manitoba the start that they needed, but now, just like the first game, we are with 2 new batters at the crease. Sarbjot Singh, having faced 3 deliveries, looking a little dicey yet to get off the mark. Manitoba 57 for 2 after 5.2 overs. A long way to bat and 2 wickets down. New man in, Kamaljot Sandhu. As he will face his first delivery from Romel Shahzad. Quicker delivery as Sandhu just plays that onto the leg for a dot ball. RC, we are 2 new batters. Similar situation as we had earlier in the day. Manitoba really need to look at. That's pitched full, driven straight down the ground. Mid-on coming around and does a great job keeping that to a single, and good throw on the return. Manitoba really need to look at keeping their set batsmen in the middle longer. They cannot throw away their wicket, especially when they've just lost a wicket prior to.
It's playing miss from Sandhu. You're right in that, Manali. They seem to like losing wickets in bunches. They like to go back to the hut in pairs. They like to have 2 new batsmen, but not the way if you want to build a commendable total. As a quicker one again, perilously close to the stumps there. The off stump. Well, the bail's unmoved. Shahzad going for that first ball 4, but a great comeback to the over and finishes the power play well for Alberta. Manitoba, however, off to a good start. Nearly 10 runs and over, 58 for 2. They'll be happy with that. What they won't be happy with is both their openers back in the hut. Kamaljot looked good once again, looked set for a big score, unable to capitalize. But now it's down to these two. Sarbjot Singh has got to do a job. What I like from Manitoba is the all-out attack in the power play, Manali. They take the power play on and they want to set themselves a platform early. What I don't like is once a wicket falls, they've got to look to consolidate, and they've got to look to rebuild that innings and ensure that they have a partnership in play, and they haven't been able to do that so far. And it's down to these two now. But Sukhdeep Brar and Romel Shahzad, 2 Canadian internationals. This is going to be a tough bowling combination for the Manitoban batsmen to maneuver.
Yeah, absolutely, which is exactly why Kamaljot Singh should have been very careful with his shot selection. Unfortunately, he was going well, just miscued that last delivery, and Sarbjot Singh now on strike. He's not looked very comfortable out there in his first 5 deliveries as he gets ready to face the pace of Brar. That's just back of a length and played down to the leg side for a single. He's got the right idea now. Sarbjot Singh tried to hit with a full kitchen sink the first 3 deliveries that he faced from Brar, and this is a much better approach. Get off the strike until you're ready, until you've got your eye in. And the new man Sandhu to face Sukhdeep Brar. Again, just back of a length, punched onto the offside for a single. This is good cricket from Manitoba. They are thinking of getting set, getting their partnership comfortable before they can launch or attack the bad bowling. Although not much has been given in terms of bad bowling by Alberta. Their bowlers have been spot on, with the exception of their opening pace attack. Sarbjot Singh again hitting that out to the offside for another comfortable single. Three deliveries to go in the over as Alvojit Sandhu is on strike. Short delivery, a little bit of extra pace and bounce, and that's guided down to third man. Another single, comfortable single. They're looking to rotate strike quite comfortably. This is the right idea for Manitoba, having just lost 2 early wickets, or 2 wickets early on. And pitched full, driven down. Can't get it away, unfortunately. Driven back to the bowler. Sarbjot Singh looking a lot better now than he did in the first 3 deliveries of his innings, as we've got 1 delivery left in the over for Sukhdeep Brar. Back of a length and a swing and a miss for Sarbjot Singh, and that brings up 62 for 2 for Manitoba at the end of the 7th.
Another good over from Sukhdeep Brar, just going for 3 runs there. Sorry, 4 runs there again in that over. So again, this is a good comeback from Alberta. They've pegged the run rate back between the two of them in Romel Shahzad and Sukhdeep Brar. It's exactly what Kanwar Man would have been hoping for. His 2 most experienced bowlers in Romel Shahzad and Sukhdeep Brar. But something that Manitoba has done well, that we've seen in both games, Manali, has been the rotation of strike. They run hard between the wickets. They do the basics well. And that's something they're going to need to do here. They can't afford to lose another wicket. These two have to stick it out for the next couple overs. They've got a platform now. They can afford to have a couple of quiet overs to get them to that total of 150, 160. But they certainly need to be out there in order to do so. These two. You see Romel Shahzad to continue. This one hit down to long off for a single. Sarbjot can hit a big ball. We saw that earlier in the morning. But he's got to be selective. When it's in his arc, he prefers the leg side over the offside. The wind has settled down as well, so he's got the opportunity now. If Romel Shahzad pitches it up, I suspect Sarbjot's going to have a little bit of a go. But he's got to be selective in the ball that he chooses to hit.
Yeah, I certainly agree, RC. He was not very selective this morning, but he looks a lot more. And as I say that, he struck that down to the long on fielder for a single. He's certainly got to keep himself and his head in the game. And Romel Shahzad pitches that up. That is played uppishly into the covers for a single by Sandhu. Romel Shahzad, one of the younger bowlers from Alberta, played the Nepal games last week as well for Canada. Oh, and that is quick and full, and Sarbjot Singh just manages to get an inside edge to the leg side as he gets down the pitch for another single. Oh, and that's another wicket for Manitoba. Unfortunately, that was full. Sandhu swinging hard, and all he can do is an edge it straight to the keeper. Another wicket for Shahzad. He is looking good out there. Manitoba 66 for 3 after 8 overs. Romel Shahzad picks up his second, bowling very well. He's bowled 2 overs for just 9 runs and picked up 2 very important wickets. Manitoba in a little bit of trouble. They're just not able to get the consistent batting that they would have hoped for. New man in, Shivam Sharma. Sarbjot Singh, unfortunately, going at a fairly slow rate, taking his time. 12 deliveries faced for his 5 runs, and Alberta well on top of Manitoba with the 3rd wicket. We know Manitoba is capable of getting that good start. However, from what we saw earlier, they're not able to finish as strong. They're still sitting at 8.25 runs and over. That's a good run rate. However, they've got to try and maintain it throughout the innings. They're just 8 overs in, 12 overs left to bat. And RC, they got to look to try and maintain that run rate.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, what that power play allows them to do is it gives them the ability to have a few quiet overs and not be too fussed. Scoring nearly 10 runs and over in the power play Run rate coming down a bit, but what they can't do now is lose another wicket. We've seen them lose wicket in bunches here. Sarbjot Singh has got to take it upon himself to take their team to a total. As we see Kanwar Man come into the attack, the captain himself again has played for Canada, is an all-rounder, so we'll see him with a bat later on today as well. Left arm spin. So again, a spin from both ends. Sukhdeep Brar did a job for his team. Kanwar Man now saying, it's down to me. So we'll see what he can do. But again, Sarbjot, he's got to be able to rotate this strike here and not lose his wicket, as this one is short. It is a wide, but that was perilously close to that leg stump. Sarbjot, it was there. It was there to be hit for 4. Unable to connect, but does get an extra delivery out of it. There again, short, but coming in with the arm. Sarbjot looking for the single, simply not there. Hit straight to point. So again, Kanwar Man not getting much turn. Looks to be just sliding on with the arm. And just finding his rhythm here is Kanwar Man. Sarbjot has got the ability. He can up his strike rate at any point, but he's got to be selective. He can't lose his wicket here, as this one is pitched up, driven down the ground. So again, he's a man that these dot balls aren't going to hurt him. They might hurt his team down the road, but it's not going to hurt him, because if he stays out there, he's got that ability to pull it back. As you see him coming down the track, just managing a single to long on. And for the first time in the innings today, we're going to see Shivam Sharma take strike.
Sarbjot Singh just losing shape as he went for the shot that he favors down to cow corner, and Sharma to face us first. And some indecision there. Oh, and almost a run out on the non-striker's end. Some yes, no. Fortunately, that was definitely not going to be a single, as it was hit right beside the keeper, and the keeper was quick to react. Shivam Sharma still looking to get off the strike, as he plays that back to the bowler. And that's pitched full, driven to covers, and that is over. Manitoba 68 for 3 after 9 overs. Shivam Sharma will stay on 0, yet to get off the mark. But that will bring Sarbjot Singh back on strike. And looks like it's going to be another bowling change for Alberta. Gurinder Tandi is the next bowler in. Some quick changes to the bowlers for Alberta. They obviously have quite a lot of depth in their bowling. Trying to mix it up, trying to see who can get the breakthrough for the next wicket. Thandi starting with a dot ball, as Sarbjot Singh looks to cut that. But another play and a miss. Oh, and that's pitched up, and Sarbjot Singh connects straight over the bowler's head, and that is 4 runs to him. A very welcome boundary to Sarbjot Singh, who has unfortunately struggled to get the runs. He's on 10 off of 17 deliveries, certainly not going at the rate that he was this morning. As Alberta adjusts the field, bringing long on a little bit straighter. Pitched up again, and looking to go straight down, however, miss hits out into the covers. Bit of a half chance, but ends up falling in the middle of 2 fielders. Sarbjot Singh definitely taking his chances as he runs through for a single off a very sketchy shot. Shivam Sharma yet to get off the mark. And he does so with an edge, not very convincing. An edge to third man to get his first run, and RC, they're not looking as comfortable as they should out there, these two.
This is short and hit down the ground. Sarbjot missed out on that first delivery on this over. It was short and wide. Didn't connect, but did with the second delivery. He's put that over the top. That's exactly what they need. But again, they've got 6 runs off this over, 7 runs now off this over already, so it's been a decent over for them. As this is short outside the off stump. Will it be a wide? Waiting for the umpire's signal here. I know he's happy with it. He's happy with it. So they take another run off the over. 8 runs off the over. So again, that one boundary, what the boundary allows them to do is get a decent over without too much fuss. And Sarbjot now 76 for 3. Well, Manitoba now 76 for 3 after 10 overs. Sarbjot Singh 12 off 19 with the lone boundary. Shivam Sharma just getting to the crease, 2 runs off 5. They've got to find a way to continue to try and get that one boundary and over. Get to that 150, 160, double their score from here, 152. They'd want to get over that, Manali. And again, Kanar Rahman giving himself a second over. That's sort of been the mantra so far. Give everybody 2 overs, change them up. And it's going to be Kanar Rahman to Shivam Sharma. Manali, Alberta with more experience in the side. But Manitoba has shown they're not afraid. They're not afraid of the bigger teams. And they're certainly not going to be afraid of Alberta here. They're going to come at them. After the loss of those 2 openers that got them off to a start, these 2 now. As that one coming down the track, not quite getting to the pitch of the ball, playing that in the offside. But again, the one thing I've loved about Manitoba from the 2 games that I've seen of them, they're always looking for that run, whether it's there or not. They're looking for that single. This one short down the leg side. He's helped it along its way. It's running down. The keeper's after it. It's slowing down to the boundary. The keeper's still after it. Is it going to be there? Yes, it is. Manages to catch up to it as the ball slowed down right at the boundary, and just the 3 runs coming off of it. But again, that's important runs for Manitoba and important runs from Shivam Sharma to start to get some momentum into his innings. Doesn't matter how they come. Like we said, they don't draw graphs in the scorecard. They just write down the runs, and that's 3 runs to Shivam Sharma.
That's pitched up full, tries to hit it onto the onside. However, another dot ball. That was a great effort from the Alberta keeper, the previous delivery, as he chased it down all the way to just short of the boundary where the ball came to a dead stop. Back of a length, outside off, and unfortunately Sarbjot Singh misses out on that one. He has been weak on his offside, definitely favored his leg side. That's full, shimmies down the wicket and strokes it down for a single to the long on fielder. Back of a length, just played off the back foot into the offside for another single. Sharma adds a run to his name, and Manitoba 81 for 3 after 11 overs. Munn bowling very decent. He's bowled his 2 overs for just 7 runs. Currently going at 7.36 runs and over Manitoba, and looking at about 147 runs at this run rate. If these 2 can bat out the next 2 to 3 overs, they certainly have a good chance of pushing on towards the end of their innings. As we have Thundy coming in for his second over, and that is edged past the keeper down to the 3rd man boundary. Good diving effort, however the ball beats him, and that is 4 runs to Shivam Sharma. getting his runs in edges. That's his second. But runs are runs, as RC said, and he moves up to 10 off of his 9 balls faced. Unlucky for the bowler. Oh, and that's short, outside off, and cut beautifully through covers for another 4. That was hit with much more authority than the ball previous that. And Shivam Sharma is starting to look a lot more comfortable out there. Another boundary to Manitoba's total, bringing them to 89. Pitched up full, outside off, and Shivam Sharma just reaching for it as he comfortably drives it out 2 covers for a single. Very good batting from these two. They've gotten a couple of boundaries, looked to rotate the strike, got a single. Sarbjot Singh goes big, goes over covers, and that's 4 runs to Sarbjot Singh. That is probably one of the first shots that I've seen him hit through the covers, through the offside, with as much control. RC, I think he's starting to open up his account on the offside.
This is the over Manitoba was looking for. This is the over. 3 boundaries in the over so far. And again, this is the over. This is what they wanted. They didn't finish their innings off well. As you see Tundi running in here. Coming down the track. And oh, what a catch that is! A one-handed screamer. Thank you very much. And Tundi, no fuss. Into the right mitt. Again, just saying I had it all along. What's all the celebration about? I had it all along. And Sarbjot connecting out of the middle, stuck out the right mid, did Tundi, and taking it in his follow-through. Catch of the tournament so far, I'd say. You wouldn't know it from his reaction, however, as Sarbjot Singh has got to go. And Manitoba now, 94 for 4 after 12. Again, they've got a platform, but they didn't finish strong in the first game, as I was just saying. That's something they have to do. They've got to take this game deep. They've got to give themselves wickets in hand at the end. And these two now, it's down to the captain who's joined Shivam Sharma, Jatinder Paul Mataharu coming into bat. He looked like he wanted to hit everything in that first game, sorry. He's got to build a partnership alongside Shivam Sharma, who's just started to get into his groove in that last over.
Yeah, quite unlucky for Sarbjot Singh. He was just starting to look very comfortable, but what a catch that was from Tundi. Just stuck out his right hand, and that's exactly what the ball did. Just stick right in there. Sarbjot Singh out for 17 runs off his 25 deliveries, and new bowler Matthew Spoors into the action. A little disappointed from Manitoba's captain with his batting in that first game. He certainly came out all guns blazing. However, that was not what was required at that stage. He certainly needed to steady the ship after the quick succession of wickets that they had. I'm sure he's looking to make up for that in this game and try and play a more pivotal role, a more captain's knock, for lack of better words. However, Sharma on strike to face the first delivery from Matthew Spoors. Spoors just taking his time, making sure his fielders are in the right place. It's back of a length and cut beautifully down to point. There is a fielder coming around, and there is some confusion as to whether that's gone down to the boundary. And the umpire says, yes, that is 4 runs, and not a bad way for Shivam Sharma to continue. That was cut beautifully on the offside, and Spoors under some pressure. First delivery. Short again, cut again. This time, however, straight to that deep cover fielder for a single. And that brings Manitoba's captain, Jatinder, on strike. Matthew Spores making some more adjustments to his field. Left-hand, right-hand combination. He's got to make sure that his offside is now stacked as he moves some of his fielders from the leg side to make up for the left-hand batsman. Short again. Played down to leg for a dot ball. Needs to work on pitching that ball up, RC.
And that's the googly there for Matthew Spores. He's obviously well known for his batting, not his bowling. Made 100 for Canada on T20 debut, did Matthew Spores. Had a chance to sit down and have a chat with him on my podcast, dropped again, Manali, and he was mentioning, as we watch him run in here, short again, Mataru looking for that single, and it's there if they want it. It's there if they want it, but I guess they don't. Spores won't be too disappointed with that. They don't want their 100 to come up, Manali, as that was a single for the take, and they decided against it. As I was speaking, resides in Australia. Matthew Spores in here again, and this one again, they want the quick single. They didn't want the easy one, Manali. They wanted the quick one, and they decided to take it that time. So again, a decent end to the over for Matthew Spores. 6 runs coming off of the score now, 100 for 4. I'll just finish my thought on that, Manali. I had a chat with him, and he mentioned he flew into Toronto for a 2-week camp before they were heading out to Dubai. And it was the middle of winter. So he brought his jacket. Then they headed out to Dubai, where it was about 35 to 40 degrees of heat for 2.5 weeks, and then had to fly back to Australia. So he packed half a suitcase with winter clothes, half a suitcase with his summer stuff, and then back to Australia to do his laundry. So again, but good to see him back in Toronto. This is the first time he'll be playing at King City. Good to see him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him with a bat. As we see Romel Shahzad back into the attack. 2 for 9 so far off his 2 overs. 7 overs to go, Manali. Manitoba wanting to get over that 150, over 160 if they can. Alberta trying to restrict him to as low as possible.
Yeah, they're currently going at 7.69 runs and over. If they keep going at this, they'll easily cross the 150 mark, but Alberta is a very experienced side. As Romel Shahzad's back into the attack, and he pitches that full. Just driven out onto the offside for a quick single for Matharu. As I was saying, Alberta is a very experienced side. They do have quite a fair bit of batting, and as you mentioned, Matthew Spores obviously coming in from Australia. A lot of experience there. Short outside off, and that is comfortably cut out to the deep cover fielder for a single. These two have done a good job rotating the strike. Matharu now starting to free his arms a little bit, hit the gaps. You know Shivan Sharma has been in good form on the other end. Quicker one. And Matharu just watches it through to the keeper. Quicker, fuller, and that looks like it's going to be a 6. Matharu saying, you know what, you're going to pitch it up to me, I'm going to put you away, and he certainly does in style. Romel Shahzad going for half a dozen. Just overpitched slightly and definitely pays the price. 2 deliveries to go in the over. Oh, and that was well bowled, just short of a good length. And Matharu now practicing the sweep, however, just stuck his pad out for that delivery. Well bowled and played onto the offside for a quick single. Good running from these two. Manitoba 109 for 4 after 14 overs. Going at a decent rate. They're building a partnership which Manitoba needed. RC, they've really got to hold on to these wickets. They can't afford to lose a wicket at this stage as this partnership is growing very well.
Yeah, Jatinder Paul Mataru has looked well in looked a lot better in his innings this afternoon than he did this morning. A lot more controlled. Looked to be beaten in flight for that 6, but did well to carry through. He must have a good piece of willow in his hands. And the captain has got to do a job for his team. They're on track here. They're on track for right around 160. 109 for 4 after 14. 6 overs to go. And Kanwar Rahman is back into the attack. So just that lone over for Matthew Spores. Sukhdeep Brar's got 2 left. Kanwar Rahman has 2 left. Romel Shahzad just has 1 left. The 3 most experienced bowlers. Yaksh Patel as well has got 2 left. So there's plenty of bowling options there for Kanwar Rahman, but he's saying, I'm going to take it on myself. And the wind, again, blowing left to right on your screen. Into the hitting arc of Mataru if he wants to have a go. This one wide outside off. And just too wide there from Kanwar Rahman. He's got Sunny on the back of his shirt, does Mataru. So I'd be interested to hear where that story comes from. And this one pitched up. And he's practiced a slog sweep in the last over. And this time he connects and just tipped over the bar from that man on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Tipped over the bar by Gurinder Sidhu. It's his second drop catch of the innings. Unfortunately for Sidhu, he dropped one earlier in slips. First ball that Sarbjot Singh faced, and this time just tipping it over the bar for 6. It's more like it from Mataru. More like the Mataru that we know. Kanwar Rahman goes again, and he goes for the shot this time. This time it's over, long off. And it's another 6, back-to-back sixes for the captain, Jatinder Paul Mataru. I just said this moments ago, that's more like the Mataru we know. It sounds like from the Manitoba camp, that's more like the Mataru that they know as well, Manali.
Back-to-back sixes for him, and he now looks like he is ready to party out there in the middle. He's brought his score up to 21 off just 11 deliveries, and Kanwar Rahman under some pressure. 2 deliveries in his over, and both of them going for 6. And well played, well adjusted as he drives that 2 covers for a single, looking for the second, however, not quite there, would have been tight. Good stuff from these two for Manitoba. Bringing Shivam Sharma, who has been a little quiet as his captain now steals the show from him. Slow through the air, pitched up, and that is beautifully hit over to cow corner for another boundary. This is turning out to be a very expensive over for Kanwar Rahman, and Manitoba looking to cruise. Shivam Sharma, of course, now at 25 off of his 15 deliveries, in competition with his captain to see who can get the most runs. On short and pulled down the leg side. And 2 quick singles, two quick runs to Shivam Sharma. This is good batting. They've put away the bad balls. They've rotated the strike, looked to hit the gaps. 1 delivery left in the over. Short again, cut through covers. Unfortunately, it doesn't really get it past the cover fielder. But they do get an extra single in that over. Manitoba 130 for 4 after 15 overs. And strike rate, or the run rate, is now almost 9 runs and over. Projected score at this point, 173 runs. 5 overs to go. This is exactly what we were talking about that they didn't have in the morning. A partnership that took over from the Serbjit or the Serbjot and Kamaljot Singh's partnership. These two have done a fantastic job. Very impressed with the captain this innings. He has come out and he's playing a captain's knock. Looks like there's going to be a bowling change for Alberta. RC, impressive stuff from Manitoba. They've come out with great intent. They've put the Alberta bowlers under pressure. They've scored crucial runs in boundaries whenever they could. 5 overs to go, and they're looking in good shape.
Yeah, certainly in good shape. Here is Manitoba. That projected score went up, right up after that last over. A big last over from Kunwar Maan. 2 sixes and a boundary coming off of it. Manitoba now 130 for 4 after 15. Shivam Sharma 28 off 17. Jatinder Pal Mataru 22 off 12. But here comes Sukhdeep Brar. This is the man that did some damage earlier on in the innings. Came in and took the vital wicket of Vasu Shah. The captain calling him on to say, I need you to do a job for me again. And he needs to break this partnership for Manitoba, for Alberta. He needs to break this partnership to restrict this total. And as we say that, that's carved over mid-off, just to the left of the sight screen for 4 runs. And it's a brilliant shot by Shivam Sharma. He said, I know you've played at the highest level, but we're playing at the same level now, Sukhdeep Brar, and I'm in form. So again, Manitoba not backing away. And this is something that we said earlier today. They're not afraid of the big moment. Shivam Sharma not afraid of the big moment. He knows he's got the ability, the execution a lot better than this morning. And the score now just rolling along. These are a couple of really good overs here for Manitoba. Shivam Sharma 32 off 18 with the 5 fours, Manali.
Yeah, he's certainly striking them very well. Brar coming in with his second delivery. Oh, and that's a full toss that's played off his hips. And Sharma looking to the umpire to see if that's a no ball, and no ball given. That certainly was close. And the umpire says it was over his waist, and we are looking at a free hit, not the start Brar would have hoped. And Shivam Sharma, unfortunately, he's on the non-striker's end, and his captain is going to face that free hit. But Matharu, he's been going well, 22 off just 12 deliveries. 3 sixes for him, no 4s, but he is dealing in 6s. Sukhdeep Brar coming around the wicket to the left-hander. Oh, and that is going to be a wide, and unfortunately he's going to have to re-bowl that one. And it'll be a free hit again. With Matharu waiting patiently to try and get bat on ball for this free hit. And that's full and guided down. Unfortunately, can't get it away. That's very well bowled, and they get a single to third man. Good comeback by Sukhdeep Brar for that free hit. Unfortunately, the wide certainly didn't help, giving them yet an extra delivery and an extra run. 4 deliveries to go in this over. Sharma on strike. Pressure on Brar. Oh, and that is a big swing and a miss. Full outside off. Sharma looking to reach for it, just not getting the connection. Manitoba 138 for 4, 3 deliveries left in the over. Slower ball, full, and Sharma not happy, missing out on that one as he shows some frustration running through for a single. This is a good comeback from Barar after the first three deliveries being wayward with a no ball, a full toss no ball, and a wide. He's got to try and finish strong here. 2 deliveries left in the over. And that's full, driven through the covers. Unfortunately, just finds the fielder a cover as they run through for a single. Matharu adding another single to his total. Sharma 34 off 21, 5 fours. About to face the last delivery of this over. Some frustration missing out on the previous delivery he faced. I'm sure he's going to look to capitalize off of this delivery. And that's full, swing and a miss, and the bowler's down, the batsman's down. Effort from both ends, and unfortunately all the ball did was go straight through to the keeper. Manitoba 140 for 4 after 16 overs. RC, I'm very impressed with Manitoba. I must say they've done a very good job with their batting compared to the first game that we saw this morning.
Yeah, certainly. The second half of the innings has certainly gone a lot better for Manitoba this evening than it did earlier on in the day. And it's all been down to Shivam Sharma and Jatinder Pal Mataru, the captain. But now, 4 overs left, Manali. Projected score is 175, but they'd be looking at 180 plus. 10 runs and over from here, that's what they'd be looking at. As we see Romel Shahzad coming in to bowl his last over, his first over from the north end. Jatinder Pal Mataru from this end has liked to hit with the wind, blowing left to right on our screens. Will he go again? It is a big boundary, but he is a big, strong lad. He's got to have a go. They've got 6 wickets in the hut, 4 overs remaining. 10 runs and over, 12 runs and over. That's what they need to be looking at from here. That puts them at a total over 180, closer to that 190 mark, and that's what they need from here on forth. And these two men, they've shown the ability to do so. Shivam Sharma, 34 off 22 at the non-strikers, and Jatinder Pal Mataru, 24 off 14 with 3 sixes on strike to Romel Shahzad. Goes over long off once again. You said he was dealing in 6s. That's a brilliant fielding effort down there, but in vain, as that's gone for the 4th 6 for Jatinder Pal Mataru. We said they need 10 runs and over. They've got more than half of that already off the first ball. And Romel Shahzad has got to fight back in this over to save it from being a big one. Manitoba looking to capitalize once again.
Certainly dealing in 6s here, Matharu. That's his 4th 6, bringing up 30 for him, 30 off just 15 deliveries. And Romel Shahzad, unfortunately, under some pressure again. Just back of a length, cut out to the cover fielder as Matharu gets a single. Shivam Sharma, the other danger man, on strike now. Romel Shahzad certainly got his work cut out for him here. He's bowled 3 overs for 24 runs. This is his last over. Definitely picked up 2 wickets. However, been a little bit on the expensive side. And that's full. Shivam Sharma picks it up and unfortunately can only find the long off fielder as he takes the catch quite comfortably on the boundary. He's just looking to make sure whether he was over that line or not, but unfortunately he's out and he's got to go. Romel Shahzad, he's gone for a few, but every time he goes for 6, he seems to follow it up with a wicket. Sharma having to walk back to the pavilion after a brilliant 34 of 23 deliveries. He had a fantastic partnership with his captain out there. Certainly steadied the ship for Manitoba when they needed. Unfortunately, has to walk back. The new man in, Muaz Qazi, we saw him bat this morning as well. He's out there to take the Manitoba innings home. 3.3 overs left in this innings as he faces his first delivery from Romel Shahzad. Crucial wicket for Alberta, as Alberta were trying to open up their shoulders, starting to open their shoulders up quite successfully. That's full, and Qazi playing a miss. RC, much needed wicket for Alberta at a very good time.
Yeah, definitely an important wicket there for Alberta. Well, Muaz Qazi coming into bat, the vice captain of the team. Romel Shahzad coming around the wicket to him. A quicker delivery. It's wide. But what Qazi needs to ensure he does here is get Jatinder Paul Mataru on strike. He can't take up too many deliveries here. Jatinder Paul Mataru's got to face the majority of the deliveries at the latter half of this innings. It's Qazi to face again. Romel Shahzad coming around the wicket slower this time. Looks to get off strike. That's 2 dot balls. So again, this is what a wicket does. It builds a little bit of pressure on the new man in. Qazi needs to find a way. It's the last ball of the over now. Potentially. Just a free hit. As you say that, that's swung out down to mid-wicket. Has gone all the way. Brilliant fielding on the boundary down there. It looks like Tundi alongside Matthew Spores. A little good teamwork there from Alberta. Flipping that up to Spores for the throw. Good enough for 2 runs, but what that does, Manali, as Manitoba is now 150 for 5, brings up to 150 for them. It gets Jatinder Paul Mataru back on strike.
150 up, RC. They've got 3 overs left to bat. Matharu looking very comfortable. Manitoba is in a very good position right now. They could really capitalize with plenty of overs or plenty of wickets in hand. Plenty of deliveries to score off of, and I think as long as Matharu is out there, they are in good contention to reach that 170, even 180 mark. Tajinder Singh back into the attack. He has been very expensive in his first 2 overs, giving away 30 runs. I am a little surprised to see him back into the attack because it definitely had a very, very dreadful start to his bowling. Hoping to make up for that in his 3rd over as he is bowling to a very set batsman in Matharu. Nice and full and driven quite comfortably to the mid long off fielder. Slight misfield, but no harm done. Just a single for Matharu as he gets down to the other end. Qazi's really got to try and look to get his captain on strike. Get the single, get the danger man on strike to make the most of the remaining deliveries. Singh just making sure that his fielders are all in the right place. Right-handed batsman on strike. Mm-hmm. Just back of a length. Some good pace on that, some good zip, and a play and a miss from Kazi. Tajinder Singh certainly looking to bring down his economy rate. Very expensive to start his spell earlier on in the innings as he comes in to bowl his third delivery. Back of length and picked up, and unfortunately all Kazi can do is find the fielder at long off, who takes a comfortable catch in the deep, and he's got to walk back, shaking his head as he walks back. He knows that was not the right shot at the right time. All he needed to do was get his captain on strike, and he goes for 2 off of 5 deliveries. Manitoba 151 for 5. RC, they really got to try and get their captain on strike. They still have plenty of deliveries left to score at least another 20 runs off of the remaining 2.5 overs.
Yeah, Kazi struck that well, just straight into the arms of long off. Needed to get that wider of the man or look to go straight over the top. It's not a long boundary straight, Manali. Middled it, just didn't get the elevation that he was quite looking for. But what it does do is bring the captain back on strike, Jatinder Paul Mataru. He's looked good so far in this innings, 32 off 17. Manitoba now 151 for 6 in 17.3. But again, what I like from Kazi is not wasting too many deliveries. He was going to go after it. And this one pitched up, driven down the ground. They're going to run hard. It's wide of the man. You got to come back. He's got to come back. He's got to run hard here, but he does so. Harpreet Singh running hard between the wickets for his team. That's what you need. Selfish running, willing to get run out to get his captain back on strike. His captain, Jatinder Paul Mataru's got to face the majority of the deliveries here. Tajinder Singh pulling a decent over here so far. And just the 3 runs off it and the wicket. And this one driven through the covers. Again, running hard between the wickets. Just going to be the one. Shahzad doing the fielding there. So last ball of the 18th over, Manali. Essentially a free hit for Harpreet Singh. Mataru going to be looking for 2, 4, or 6. He's going to want to stay on that end.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Singh can come out with. Harpreet Singh will come out with, as Tajinder Singh looks to finish his 3rd over. A much better over than his initial 2. That is bowled nice and full. A full Yorker just outside off, and Harpreet Singh can't do much with that, unfortunately. Very well bowled to cap off a decent over, just giving 4 runs in that over, and Manitoba not able to get the runs that they were requiring in that 17th over. 18 overs done. Manitoba 154 for 6. Matharu asking for the score, wants to know where his team is at in their innings with just 2 overs left to go. And into the attack, Sukti Brar. He's now bowled from the north end, the commentator's end, and now he's back at the north end. Bowled 3 overs, 18 runs, 1 wicket. Looking to finish his final over of his spell on a high, as Manitoba have 2 overs left in their innings. Matharu on strike. And that's wide. Unfortunately, not the start that Brar would have hoped for. Matharu just letting it go through the keeper, as he knew that was going to be a wide. Unfortunately, a few extras from Brar, and he continues at this over, starting with yet another extra. Manitoba 156 for 6. 6 deliveries to go in the over still. That's pitched full. as Matharu drives it out to covers, and oh, that was almost a run out, and it is a no ball and a free hit. 2 runs coming off of it and a third for the no ball. Barar is just not getting it right today. Very disappointing. Very disappointing from him. These are the basics that we talk about, RC. The wides, the no balls. Very basics.
Yeah, he started off well for Alberta, but his second and third spells have not been good. As we see the free hit coming in, Matharu, the man to face. This one wide again, outside off, and he's down. Keeper did well to get across that. That was very wide, nearly off the wicket. So again, Sukhdeep Brar being put under pressure in his third spell here. First 2 overs just went for 8. Last over went for a few, and he's going. It looks like he might be in trouble here again, as Jatinder Pal Matharu has put him under the pump, put him under pressure. 37 off 20 for Jatinder Pal Matharu, and he's got a free hit. 159 for 6 in 18 overs. Sukhdeep Brar has got to come up with the goods. This one pitched up to point, just getting past point. Will they come back for 2? No, they won't. Slight misfield from Yaksh Patel there, but good enough. Matharu looking to sneak a second, not able to do so. So 11 deliveries to go. 160 for 6. They want to get up to that 180 mark, Manali. They want at least 20 off these last 11 deliveries. And Harpreet Singh has got to get the captain back on strike.
Yeah, RC, when we initially started, we said 150, 160, but they certainly look on par for 180. That's full. Driven down the ground past the bowler for a single. Harpreet Singh getting off the mark, doing the right thing, getting his captain back on strike. I think 180 on the board, and Alberta is certainly going to have some scoreboard pressure for the batters to come and chase it down. 4 deliveries left in the over, as that's pitched full, and almost could have turned very nasty there as the bowler goes down. Matharu driving that down for a single. Bowler getting a hand to it. He's the first bowler who's fallen as much as he has, RC. Don't think we've seen many other bowlers fall as much as him. A lot of effort being put in, or not wearing spikes. What do you think?
Short ball. Like to see it. Like to see it from Sukhdeep Brar. He's got the pace for it. Not much in the wicket, however. Harpreet Singh happy on the back of his shirt. Happy to get underneath that. Yeah, it's something that I used to do a lot when I used to bowl as well. Is the effort. You're just trying to, and with the used surface, if you've got older spikes, they're not as long, don't seem to stick. Mark Wood is somebody who we've seen fall quite a bit for England as well. Sukhdeep Brar here down the leg side. Harpreet Singh needed to get a little bit more bat on it, or any bat on it for that matter. Seems to have just gone an inside edge onto his pads and just a single. So again, a little bit wayward here from Sukhdeep Brar. Looked impressive early on, but needs to finish the spell off strong. 1 delivery left to go. But as I was saying, when your spikes get used, for batsmen, you don't mind having shorter spikes, but for bowlers, you need those long, fresh spikes, especially on a used surface. As we see him run in here, and this one pitched up, driven through. There is a fielder there on the 30-yard ring. It is Matthew Spores, so the single. But what it does is bring Jatinder Pal Matharu back on strike. So a good end to the over from Sukhdeep Brar. Got hit for that boundary at the beginning of the over, but again, bringing it back well. The no ball as well. Sorry, not the boundary. The no ball from the first delivery. So bringing back that over well. Finishing for 1 for 28. Not bad in T20 cricket. Not bad under the circumstances, but I'm sure for him, the caliber that he's played and the level of cricket that he is, he would like to do better than that. 164 for 6 now after 19 overs. 1 over to go, Manali. Tajinder Singh it will be to end The one thing we haven't seen, something that Manitoba did really well in this morning, was the variations. Love to see Tajinder Singh dig the ball in, roll his fingers down the seam here. It is that wicket. Again, the 6th game on this wicket now, so would love to see him roll his fingers down the seam in this over.
That's pitched full and driven down for a single. Matharu not able to get the ball away as well as he'd have liked. You're right, not a lot of variation, RC, and that is exactly why I am very keen to see how Manitoba go about their bowling. They certainly have a lot of variation in their bowlers, and Alberta is going to have to work hard to chase this total down. 5 deliveries left in the over, 5 deliveries left in the innings. Happy or Harpreet Singh on strike. And that's short. Oh, and that's hit him. Unfortunately, the ball just not getting the elevation he had hoped for. But that's runs. Runs for Manitoba. They will take the 4 leg byes. Harpreet Singh might have a bit of a bruise after the game, but at the moment, that's 4 runs. He looks all right. This pitch not getting the bounce that we were seeing earlier in the day. Ball keeping low. Much needed runs for Manitoba, however, bringing them just one run short of 170. Short back of a length, and that's a swing and a miss for Harpreet Singh. Unfortunately, he wanted to hit that, but in no real position to strike that. Matharu just going down, having a chat with his batting partner, letting him know, we got to get some runs, maybe just get me on strike. And some good pace on that. Another swing and a miss, and sloppy work from Alberta. Sloppy indeed. The keeper tried to go for a run out. That was not out. The ball out onto the field, and the batsmen alert as they run through for another single. Great awareness from the Manitoba batsmen as they steal a bye. This brings Matharu on strike. He is 41 off 24 deliveries. 4 sixes off of that. Yet to hit a boundary, just dealing in 6s, and that is swung high to the leg side, and deep square leg comes in very comfortably for a catch. Matthew Spoors takes that in comfortably as Matharu's innings, a very, very good innings for Manitoba, comes to an end. 41 of 25 deliveries. He can certainly be proud of the captain's knock that he has provided. He's unhappy with himself, of course. Tried to get a few more runs on the board for his team, but not a bad effort, RC.
Yeah, much better effort for him this time around. He's going to have a job to do with the ball as well as the captain, Matharu. But again, there's an above par total here. 169 for 7. Amrinder Dhillon, the new man in, not going to have to face the ball as long as there's no funny business from Tajinder Singh. He's got to keep his foot behind the line, as now he's bringing mid-off up. 3 men out on the leg side, 3rd man out as well. Fine leg. Expect this one to be on the shorter side, and it is. It's connected. Not going to carry, though, to long on. They got to come back for 2. They are. This is good running. He's going to get run out. He's going to be run out, Amrinder Dhillon, without facing a delivery, but he did a job for the team. Again, running for the team is what I love to see. Giving it your all for the team. And Harpreet Singh, and that's going to take him to 170. And above par total, Manali. We talked about 150, 160. They end up getting to 170. And now Alberta's got a job to do with the bat as we see them getting into a huddle. Manitoba innings gone off to a flyer. Kamaljot Singh, 34 off 18. Vasu Shah, very innovative in his innings, 15 off 12. Sarbjot, 17 off 25. But the innings really kicked it into high gear when Shivam Sharma was joined by the captain Jatinder Pal Mataru. 34 for 23 out for Shivam Sharma with 5 boundaries. Jatinder Pal Mataru 41 off 24, the captain. Brilliant innings from him with 4 sixes. From the bowling side, Sukti Brar had a great opening attack. 1 for 28 from him. 3 for 28 as well for Romel Shahzad, and 1 for 21. Tajinder Singh didn't start strong, but has ended off strongly. 2 for 30 in his first 2. 2 for 37 in the end off his 4 overs. So a brilliant spell all around. This has been good cricket. This is going to be a fun chase to watch. Manali is going to go right down to the wire, but for now we're going to take a little bit of a break. Join us in about 10 minutes. Signing off for now, Arslan Kadir and Manali Patel. We'll see you in about 10 minutes for the run chase. Welcome back from King City, Ontario, Canada. We're here for the second innings of the third match of the day. It is Manitoba versus Alberta. Manitoba finishing for 171 for 8 after winning the toss and choosing to bat for what we think is an above par total. But again, you never know until you see two teams batting on it. It is going to be Gurinderjeet Sidhu alongside Matthew Spores to face Gurinder, to face Mangli to open the bowling. On the pads, loud appeal, first ball. I'm Arslan Kadir. I'm joined alongside Manali Patel. Manali, appeal first ball. He did get some movement earlier this morning from away from the right-hander into the left-hander, and he looks to be doing the same this afternoon.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and that's a good start. A leg by to start the Alberta run chase. Alberta needing 171 runs off of 119 deliveries. We've seen the variation that this Manitoba side has with their bowling. We've seen the experience that they have as Matthew Spores looks to face his first delivery, and that's full, driven uppishly through the covers for a comfortable single as Matthew Spores gets off the strike, opening his account. RC, I'm quite interested to see how Matharu goes against Alberta. He was fantastic in the first game this morning. Very hard to read, very hard to play. Sidhu back on strike, and that's full. And given, that is out. Leg before wicket. And oh my goodness, not the start Alberta would have hoped for. 2 for 1 in 0.3 overs. Kamal Mangli strikes with his first, and this is exactly the start the Manitoba would have hoped for. Sidhu unfortunately walking back for a duck. Also not the start that they would have hoped for. New man in, Yasub Haq.
It's an adventurous shot to face, to play on your second delivery that you face, but they wanted to get off to a good start. Sidhu, not a good day for him. 2 dropped catches in their bowling innings, and not troubling the scorers. Again, a very adventurous shot. It had everybody in shock here in the commentator and scorers booth, but they need these two. Yasub Haq, the wicketkeeper, alongside Matthew Spores, the Canadian international, and Mangli very happy with that dismissal. This one again, they're going for a quick single. He's called for him. Nearly a disastrous first over, as Yasub Haq had the call of yes and then a quick of no. That's not what you need at this point, is a run out. Alberta 2 for 1 after 0.4, nearly 2 for 2, Manali.
Yeah, Alberta's really got to try and study the ship a little bit. Nearly a second wicket there as Matthew Spurs was almost run out. Mangli coming in for his 5th delivery. That's full, onto the pads, there's an appeal. But that looks like it's going down leg. This is great stuff from Mangli. A fantastic start to his over. And Alberta under some pressure here. They scampered across for a single for a leg by, and that brings Spores on to face the last delivery of the over from Kamal Mangli. With the left-hand, right-hand combination. And that's pitched full. As Spores gets off the mark again, just playing that down leg for comfortable single. Keeping strike for the next over. Alberta 4 for 1 after their first over. RC, this is not the start that I'm sure Alberta had in mind. You've got one man back in the hut. Yasubhak yet to get off of strike and open his account, and Matthew Spores, I mean, he looks to be ticking along. However, they're going to need to dig deep. They have yet to face any of the spinners Manitoba has, and with that, the bowler coming in from the commentators and Mandeep Saini. He bowled quite well this morning, saw some decent slower balls. Spores is going to need to be watchful as he faces the pace of Mandeep Saini.
Yeah, one thing you'll be certain of with Matthew Spores is he'll be busy. Very similar to Kamaljot Saini. He'll be busy. He'll be moving around that crease. As you see that's one short top edge. And luckily for Matthew Spores, going right straight over the wicketkeeper's head for 4 runs. And that's the first boundary for Alberta, and a good start to the over as well for them. Not an ideal scenario, not an ideal way to get that boundary, but they'll do. And again, we see a couple more issues with the sight screen. Matthew Spores asking for that sight screen to be moved. Unfortunately for him, what they'll find out very shortly is that sight screen is immovable.
It won't move.
And they're calling in all the troops, 6, 7 men, but it's been nailed down, folks. The sight screen's been nailed down. They've got to take those nails out before it moves. And they're doing it. They're doing it. We'll see this happen. I know you can't see it, but we're having a joy of a time watching these guys try and move the sight screen. And for Matthew Spores, coming all the way from Australia, the least he could ask for is a sight screen to be moved, and Alberta will do everything they possibly can to move it. And here it is. It's on the move. And it has been moved. Not only 3 games yesterday, all 3 games, batsmen asked for that sight screen to be moved, and it could not. Today, Alberta said, we'll move it for you, Mr. Matthew Spores.
Yeah, you can really tell that Matthew Spores has the backing from his teammates. Came out, took out those nails and moved that side screen. Mandeep Saini to Spores. Back of length, and that is pulled to cow corner with a lot of confidence, and that was a much better shot compared to the first delivery that he hit, that he edged over a keeper. 2 fours and 2 deliveries, and unfortunately not the start that Mandeep Saini was hoping for. Alberta 12 for 1, still requiring another 160 runs. A lot more runs to get, but they're certainly doing something right. Short again, short outside off. Matthew Spores looks to cut that, but can only find the cover fielder. Three deliveries left in the over. Mandeep Saini is going to try and bring it back a little bit, going for 2 fours in the over so far. That's pitched full, driven beautifully. Unfortunately finds that cover fielder. Ball kicks off of the matting wicket there, the patch, but does well to cover it as it gets a little extra bounce. Spores certainly getting bad on ball, just not able to pierce the offside as he'd like. Oh, and that's bowled well, played behind backward point. Another dot ball for Spores. Last delivery of the over, RC. This is a good comeback from Saini after going for 2 boundaries.
Yeah, definitely a good comeback. He's adjusted his length. First 2 definitely on the shorter side. Pitching it up. 3 dot balls in a row now. But again, Alberta won't be too disappointed with this over. This one short again, and Matthew Spores walking across his stumps. Plays this down to the leg side. Good chase on the boundary, but in vain. He's got a good piece of willow in his hands, this Matthew Spores. That Grey Nick's doing wonders for him as it finds the middle of that bat, going for 4 runs. So 3 boundaries in the over alongside 3 dot balls. 16 for 1 now after 2 is Alberta. And Spores has gotten his team on a roll. They lost that 1 wicket in the opening over, but they'll be happier with that over there, Manali.
Yeah, certainly a very good over. 12 runs coming off of it for Alberta. This is a good recovery after losing a wicket early on. Yasub Huck watching all the action from the other end as Matthew Spores has taken the attack to the bowlers. He's yet to get off the strike as he faces Mungley from the north end. He's looking around the field to see where the fielders are. His batting partner Spores going very well. Possibly should look at getting off strike. And bowled full, played onto the offside, and a dot ball. Very watchful. There was some time, RC, there. Maybe he could have squeezed in a quick single. Facing his 4th delivery now. Huck. And that's pitched full toss as he hits that over the bowler's head. There is protection out there, but he's off strike and he brings Spores on strike. Mungley's going to have to be a little watchful here. Spurs certainly getting bat on ball very well from the other end. Taking Saini for quite a few runs in his first over. 4 deliveries to come.
Spores not quite getting into the groove. Still getting used to this wicket. Again, his first time playing in Toronto, first time playing in King City, so getting used to the wicket. And as we've said multiple times today, this is a used wicket. It was used last week against Nepal, used for 3 games yesterday and 3 games on it today. Got a heavy amount of rain in the afternoon today, so it has settled down a bit. But again, we see that puff of dust coming off this wicket, so he's got to be a little bit watchful here as we see Mungley running in. As we say that, he's driven that out to the deep for a single. So again, Alberta in the last 2 overs going well here. 18 for 1 now in 2.4. The one thing we saw from Manitoba is they went hard in the beginning, but they were able to capitalize in the end with Jatinder Paul, Mataru, and Shivam Sharma. They're going to need a man to stand up here for Alberta if they're going to chase this down. This is a big total. We said it was above par, and as of right now, it looks to be so. Manitoba getting 58 in the power play. Alberta's going to have to match that. This one wide outside off. Flashes at it. It does get through the gap. It's running away to the point boundary. Kamaljot fast. As quick as ever running down, but Matthew Spores, alert as ever, comes back for the 3rd. So good cricket all around. Finds the gap. Kamaljot chases that one down, but the Albertan batsmen come back for 3. Great cricket all around there, Manali.
Yeah, great cricket, great effort out on the deep point boundary as Kamaljot Singh pulls that in, which was for sure going to be a boundary. Last delivery of the over, Kamal Mungley bowling a fairly decent over so far. Spurs to face his 11th delivery. He's sitting at 15 off of his 10. Heavy offside field, knowing that Spurs can drive the ball very well. And that's full. Driven straight down the ground. Chance of a run out, however, Spurs makes it quite comfortably and keeps strike on the other end. Alberta 22 for 1 after 3 overs. They're currently going at 7.3 runs and over. Alberta need 150 more off of 102 deliveries, and they're certainly going to have to match the partnership of Matharu, or the innings of Matharu from Manitoba, if they're to try and chase this down. There's going to be a bowling change. Amrinder Dhillon coming in from the commentator's end. Arslan, we've been here for 2 days, almost 2 full days. This wicket now into its 6th game between the 2 days. Apart from the short ball not bouncing as well as we'd like, it's not playing very bad.
No, and I've said this, I think the rain really helped this wicket today. They were starting to break early in the morning, and you saw with Manitoba's game earlier today, the batsmen were struggling quite a bit in that second innings. As you see Amrinder Dhillon now, and Spoors right away on that sweep. Nobody behind square on the leg side, and Spoors says, I'll help myself to 4. And Spoors really kicking this account into gear. We said he was going to be busy. He certainly has been early. 20 off 12 for him with 4 boundaries. And again, a very busy cricketer is Matthew Spoors. Amrinder Dhillon's got to make sure that his line of attack is outside that off stump, but a heavy offside dominant field. I'd like to see a man backward square, that man from deep mid wicket going across the backward square. Spoors likely to play that sweep shot. But yeah, the wicket hasn't played too bad this afternoon, Manali. I saw it starting to crumble early on today, but it's played well. The other thing that we've done in these 2 days, Manali, you've seen all 10 teams. Seen all 10 teams play. As we see Amrinder Dhillon to Spoors again. This time on the offside. Going to come through for a single. So we've seen all 10 teams now. It's been some competitive cricket throughout, and we've seen sprinklings of some very talented cricketers throughout all 10 teams. It's going to be great to watch over the next couple of days, but what has stood out to you so far?
Exactly what you said, the sprinkling of talent from throughout the country. I have been very impressed with Manitoba. I did not think that they had the caliber that they've brought here. And the same goes for some of the smaller provinces. Of course, New Brunswick being one of our first games, and just that attitude that the management had, the players had. They were confident, and they said they were coming out here to win. They were not here to compete. Just great positivity from all the players. Short, slightly short, and that's pulled to the leg side. Straight to the long on fielder for a single to Huck, and that brings Spoors on strike. A tournament like this is perfect for selectors, RC. You get to see so many players in one location, so many games being played this week, and with a tournament coming up for Canada. And that's pitched full, driven to the offside, straight to the fielder though. A lot of players putting their hand up and performing, asking for the selectors to be noticed. Back of a length, and Spoors pulls that down leg, and that's going to be another boundary, and just makes it behind that square leg fielder. Unfortunately, just you cannot bowl short to Spoors and not have the protection on the boundary at deep square leg and deep mid wicket. He has capitalized on both occasions that he's had that delivery bowled to him. One delivery to go to this Dhillon over. Slightly on the expensive side. And that's a quicker one, short, and unfortunately there's a misfield by the cover fielder, and Spurs cuts that away for another boundary. 4 runs to him, this time through the covers. He's shown his versatility and his experience as he hits the ball around the park, hitting those gaps, hitting along the ground. Alberta 36 for 1 after 4 overs. Currently going at 9 runs and over, looking comfortable out there, these two. Of course, Huck playing more of a supportive innings to Spurs, who's taken it on himself to score the runs. Honestly, I'm quite impressed with some of the younger players that we've seen, especially from Ontario today. It goes to show in the next 2-3 years, Canada certainly has quite a lot of players that they will be rotating through as their seniors retire.
Yeah, definitely need the youngsters to come to the party here for Canada. Canada not able to make a World Cup since 2011. It's been 11 years, Manali, already since Canada's featured in a World Cup. So they need these young players to come to the fray. As we see Mangley continue to Huck, driving this through the offside, not able to beat the point fielder. You know, one thing I would have loved to see in this tournament, Manali, is an under-23 squad. You know, we saw it in the World Junior Hockey Championship. There's so many players to select from, especially in Ontario, Quebec, BC, Alberta. I would love to see an under-23 squad amongst the tournament as well. It would have really added an extra level of flair to the tournament. As this one, Mangley, the grunt, extra effort there, but unfortunately for him, that's too wide, and wide called. We didn't see Mangley get a third over in the opening game, but he's getting a third one here. He's bowling well, just 1 for 8 so far in his 2.1. He's got to get back to length, but yeah, Manali, as I was seeing, I would love to see an under-23 squad in a tournament like this. It would add an extra layer of exposure to some of those guys, and again, there's a number of cricketers around this country that have played under-19 cricket in the last couple of years. We'd love to see him here.
That's pitched full. Huck looking to drive that, but well fielded by Kamal Mangley off his own bowling. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, RC. An under-23 squad made up of juniors from all across the country would have been not just fantastic for the players to get the exposure against the top players from around the country, but even from a development perspective for Cricket Canada, it would have given them an insight into just what they have in terms of depth in the younger players. And that's pitched full, driven down to mid-off. A good diving effort to save the boundary as Huck runs through for his second. Three deliveries left in this Mangley over. He's going well, just 4.4 runs, the economy rate. Just back of a length, and that's picked up beautifully by Huck as he... Oh, fantastic work in the deep from the long-on fielder. And is that going to be a run out? No, safe. Good running as they pick up 2 runs. That was hit hard down straight over the bowler's head for a boundary. That was great cricket all around. The fielder at long on coming around. Excellent diving stop and almost got a run out. Manitoba certainly putting in everything they can. First with the bat, now with the ball and their fielders. You see them diving around in the field, throwing their bodies behind the ball. Mangley to Huck. That's full, outside off. Giving himself some room, Huck, as he tries to pierce the offside, but can't find a gap. Spurs, unfortunately, been stuck at the non-strikers end for a while as Huck takes most of this over. 1 delivery to go. Oh, and that is a beautiful shot. coming around inside the line, and that is paddled down the leg side for 4 runs. A good finish for Huck to that over. Alberta 45 for 1 after 5 overs. Slightly expensive Mungley, that over. 9 runs coming off of it. RC, we saw wide in that over. We know that Manitoba's put up a decent total. However, Alberta look up to the challenge. These bowlers are really going to have to bowl tight, keep those extras down.
Yeah, certainly will. Didn't look to get off to a flyer. They certainly didn't with that first over from Mongley, but they've done well. Matthew Spores especially, 29 off 16 for him. And yes, Yasub Huck, famous last name, has come to the party himself with that brilliant last shot. Innovation. That was a shot that led to the downfall of Sidhu earlier in the first over. This time, Yasub Huck connecting. 13 off 12 for him. 45 for 1. We said they got to match the 58 for 1. They're going to get close here. They've certainly pulled this one back in their favor here, has Alberta. And now as we see another bowling change for Manitoba, it is going to be Shivam Sharma. He had a lot to do with the bat in their innings. Held their innings together alongside their captain Jajinder Pal Mataru to get them to a total of 171. But now he's been asked to do a job with the ball. Bowling to Matthew Spores. He's going to come around the wicket. He's bowling off spin. The fielder at backward square leg is in the circle. I'd like to see him pushed back, or at least 2 men back. I suspect Matthew Spores might be looking at that region.
He's certainly been successful in that region twice now, and still no protection at that deep square leg boundary. Sharma's got to try and bowl on that off-stop line as Spores chips down for a single, hitting that to the mid-off fielder. And with that, Spores on 30 off of 17 deliveries. He's looked good. 6 fours off of that 30 that he has scored. Yasub Huck ticking along quietly on the other end as he faces the second delivery from Shivam Sharma. Sharma just making sure his fielders are all in the right place as he brings an extra fielder onto the offside. It's very well bowled, full, quicker through the air, and Huck can't do much with that, just a dot ball. Alberta still 126 runs away from their target. And Sharma straying down leg, and unfortunately Huck is ready and up to that task as he flicks that down leg to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs. That's a gift from Sharma to Huck. Poor delivery after the first 2 balls. And with that, Alberta bring up their 50 with 3 balls to go in the power play. That's full, pitched up, and Huck goes over the mid-off fielder, and it's going to be another 4. Fantastic shot from Huck, and he is looking to open his shoulders now. Sharma under some pressure, going for back-to-back 4s. But Huck starting to look a lot more comfortable, RC. Starting to play more than just a supporting role to Matthew Spores.
Yeah, always tough for a spinner in the power play with only 2 men allowed out. He's got a ring on the offside. The 2 men are on the leg side, a deep mid-wicket and long on. As this one, not willing to give it any air on that occasion. And this is good cricket from Yasub Huck. Hitting the 2 boundaries and then getting off strike. Matthew Spores now with 2 deliveries left. Apologies, 1 delivery left in the power play. 55 for 1. We said they're going to have to match Manitoba. They're right there. Matthew Spores, the 2 men out for him are also on the leg side with a ring on the off. 2 men also behind square, but in the ring on the leg side. See Shivam Sharma. And this one's short. In a way, can't pierce the gap there, Matthew Spores. So at the end of the power play, Alberta 55 for 1 after 6. They'll be happy with that. With the first over losing a wicket, nearly losing 2 after that run-out chance as well. But they've come back strong. 55 for 1 in the power play. Manali, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they've really steadied the ship after that first over, or that first wicket that went down. Spores 30 off 18. Huck 22 off 16. These two batters have been out there for quite a while now and look set. Manitoba, of course, looking to break this partnership as we are done with the power play. Mungley coming in for his 4th and final over of his spell. Yasub Huck to face. Going for 17 runs in his 3 overs. He's bowled well. And that's full and paddled very well over the keeper for 4 runs. We've seen some good innovation from Huck, and he has been successful on both occasions that he has tried that shot. Kamal Mungley being put under pressure, first delivery of his over. Alberta 59 for 1. Just 113 runs away from their target now, off of 83 deliveries, but going at a very healthy strike rate or run rate of almost 10 runs and over. That's short and paddled again. There is a fielder coming under it, and oh dear. Unfortunately, the fine leg fielder just not able to complete the catch. Did a good job running in, got there, but just couldn't hold on to it. And Yasub Huck gets a life. Gets a single and brings Matthew Spores on strike. Spores has been quite quiet in the last few deliveries as Huck has gotten most of the strike. RC, you think there might be some loss of concentration? Spores has been quiet for quite a few deliveries now.
Certainly not very experienced as Matthew Spores. Played for the Australian under-19 squad as well. You see Mongley coming in, and this one is driven into the gap. Just helped along its way, and Harpreet Singh does well on the boundary this time, managing to keep it at 2 and saving the boundary. It'll be interesting to see Matthew Spores change gears here. Did well, utilized the power play in his favor, but now with Yasub Huck going as he is, dropping anchor a little bit is Matthew Spores and saying, I'll play second fiddle to you, Yasub Huck. And as we say that, he's driven that down the ground to return the strike back to Yasub Huck. So this is great cricket for Matthew Spores, showing all his experience, maneuvering the field, going at a healthy strike rate as well. 32 off 19, 33 off 20, I should say, for him. So going well. They're going well here. They're on track. These two have got a job to do to continue this. They've got plenty of batting as well in the hut. Kanwar Maan yet to bat. They are missing Hamza Tariq in this tournament. As you see Mongley running in, and Yasub Huck just helping that on the offside. They run through for a single. As I mentioned, they are missing Hamza Tariq, but plenty of experience in that camp. Kanwar Maan, who has played for Canada, is yet to bat, so there's experience for Alberta, and at this point, I would say they're favorites.
Yeah, good point, RC. The understanding between the two batsmen and their roles has switched, but they've understood that very well. Spores understanding that Huck is finding the ball and finding the gaps and the shots quite successfully. And that's short outside off, cut into the deep. Just a single. And that's the end of the over. Alberta 65 for 1 after 7. This is exactly the partnership that Alberta needed to steady the ship. They are going along very well. 52-run partnership, if I'm not wrong, between these two. 63-run partnership, sorry, between these two, and Alberta now just 107 runs away. Sharma in for his second over as Matthew Spores to face and there's a big shout and given. Matthew Spores unfortunately edges that to the keeper, and Sharma picks up his first wicket. Sharma will be very pleased with that effort, as Spores unfortunately has to walk back. A decent innings, 34 runs off of 22 deliveries. But Manitoba getting the all-important wicket of Spores, and most importantly breaking a very healthy partnership. Alberta 65 for 2, 7.1 overs as Kanwar Man, the captain, walks in for Alberta. We saw Matharu playing a captain's innings earlier on, and I think safe to say Mun is going to have to play a similar captain's knock if Alberta are to get over the line here. RC, they're having a fairly long chat out there. Manitoba just getting some encouragement, I'm sure. A game plan for the remaining 13 overs. How crucial was that wicket?
Yeah, very important wicket there for Manitoba. The man in form, the overseas professional, some may say, for Canada. Matthew Spores now back in the hut. Yasub Haq, 28 off 19. Kanwar Man, the Canadian international, in to face his first delivery. Shivam Sharma went for a few in his first over, but it's come back well. And that's an important wicket for Manitoba. Manali. Both the openers now back in the hut. But Manitoba going well right now, 65 for 2. They need another partnership. These two, Yasub Haq, started out cautiously, but really has come to the party. And now Kanwar Mans to face his first delivery. There's a ring on the offside, deep cover. Nobody in the ring on the leg side, 3 men out. Deep square leg, deep mid wicket, and long on. Long off also out. And this one played in straight to point. They are going to go through for a single. Kamaljot not quick enough on that occasion as they come through for that single. Good alert running there from Alberta. And again, this is something we saw from Manitoba, and it's good to see from Alberta here as well, Manali.
Yeah, good intent in there. Running in between the wickets certainly helps rotate the strike, get your singles and doubles in so there isn't as much pressure for the bigger shots. That's just back of a length. Defended straight back to the bowler. Shivam Sharma very happy, I'm sure, to get his first wicket. Flighted delivery there. And Huck just playing that on his front foot back to the bowler. He's playing cautiously, probably thinking he's got to steady the ship a little bit after the wicket of Matthew Spores. Oh, and Sharma pulling out of his delivery there. Asking his deep cover fielder to come around. Back of length, played down leg for a quick single. Good stuff from Huck here. Which brings Kanwar Mann, the captain of Alberta, on strike. Last delivery of the over for Sharma. Still looking to adjust that deep cover fielder as he's moved around. That's well played. However, straight to the point fielder. A dot ball to end the over. Alberta 67 for 2 after 8.
At the end of 8 overs, Alberta 67 for 2. That wicket, just with that wicket for Shivam Sharma, a good over from him. Just 2 runs off of it in the end. It's exactly what Manitoba needed at that stage as we see Moaz Kazi come into the attack. The backwards cap once again, Manali, for Moaz Kazi. Not something I like to see at this level, but again, we know COVID rules. Umpires can't take the hat, so you got to flip it around on your head. Yasub Haq has looked good in this innings. He's got to continue now after losing Matthew Spoor as his partner. Kanwar Mann just 1 off 2, so it's going to be off spin from both ends. A ring on the offside. The deep cover is out, long off. Nobody in the ring on the leg side. 3 men on the boundary. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg. And this one, with that ring on the offside, the shot is there with the off spinner coming around the wicket. So I like the thinking, but it's a wide. Kazi saw him and said, I'll bowl this wide. Just too wide on that occasion. Will he go for it again? This time looking to just paddle, just maneuver it down. Oh, and the umpire raised his arm but didn't raise his finger on that occasion. Sarbjot Singh was confident. Not out on that occasion. Manali Yasub Haq, wicketkeeper. Stereotypical wicketkeeper. Maneuver in the field. Lots of paddles. Lots of sweeps. Very risky. Very innovative. Love to see it. Kazi, he's got to be careful here. He's got to watch him really closely as he maneuvers this through his crease. And this time, short inside edge. Oh, all happening in this over so far here, Manali.
Yeah, certainly showing a lot of variety to his batting. Yasub Haq, unfortunately, last 3 deliveries, trying a little bit too much. And Kazi coming in and putting his flair or his stamp to his over as he... Oh, and that's a massive shot. And there is cover out there, and that looks like it's going to be 6. 6 over the long on boundary for Yasub Haq. He missed the first few deliveries and decided, you know what, maybe I'm going to try and be a little more conventional, and he picks that up beautifully over the long on boundary for a maximum 74 for 2. Alberta now needing less than 100, just 98 more runs. And that's short, outside off, played to the offside for a quick single. This is very good batting from Yasub Haq. Got his boundary, got off strike. 2 deliveries to go in the over. Kanwar Mann on strike. It's the first delivery that Kazi's going to bowl to Kanwar Mann. Slower delivery. Played to the offside for another single. And that brings Huck back on strike. And try to switch hit. However, he's been quite unsuccessful with that. With that shot, RC, he's tried it 3 times, I believe, now, and hasn't quite come off for him.
No, but I like the thinking from him. 3 men out on the leg side, only 1 man out on the offside. Get that over the ring, and it's probably going to be a boundary. So I like the thinking from Yasub Haq. He's got to keep going here. 36 off 27 for him. The score now 76 for 2 after 9. That 6 really helped him that over there, Manali. Shivam Sharma to continue for his 3rd over. Alberta going well here. They're keeping up with the rate. What they have to do is keep wickets in hand for the latter overs, as we see Shivam Sharma bowl to Kanwarman. And he looks to hit this over top of cover, and he does. Sun got in his eyes, didn't see it, and this is going running away to the boundary, and it is going to be a boundary. Kanwarman getting his first boundary of the innings. Brilliant diving effort there from Mangli on the boundary, just not able to corral it in.
Certainly gets a boundary, however, the cover fielder, I think there was a chance there. Unfortunately, he had completely lost the ball in the sun. The sun is directly ahead of that fielder as it sets. Kanwarman happy to get a delivery to a boundary to his name, and as he flicks that off his pads down to the square leg fielder, and that is good running as they come back for 2 runs. Putting some pressure on the Manitoba fielders in the deep as these 2 run hard. Alberta 84 for 2, 3 deliveries to go in the over. Sharma's going to look to try and pick up his 2nd wicket. Back of a length, outside off. Man tries to play that to the backward point fielder. Unfortunately, just a dot ball as the fielder is quick to the ball with a rocket arm. Back to Sarbjot Singh, their keeper. Man just playing that to the leg side for a quick single. Very good job done by the square leg fielder as he attacked that ball, keeping it down to just 1 run. And that brings the man in form, Huck, back on strike. Flighted delivery picked up early, and unfortunately that is 4 runs. Swept down to deep square leg, and Yasub Haq, very good control and very, very good control of his batting. And just like that, he reaches 40 runs off of just 28 deliveries. 5 fours, 1 6. 1 delivery to go in this over. Shivam Sharma, he's got the danger man on strike. It would be the perfect wicket for Alberta to get. Slower ball, slightly flighted, and that is picked up beautifully. Oh, and a slight misfield, and that unfortunately is 4 runs to the deep cover boundary. Yasub Haq playing quite the innings for Alberta. It's been a little sloppy in the field, in the deep, on the offside for Manitoba, RC.
Yeah, brilliant batting from Yasub Haq. May not have gotten the opportunity if Hamza Tark, the Canadian wicketkeeper, was here, but he's taking full advantage of the opportunity that he's been presented. 44 off 29 now. 91 for 2 after 10. They're well on pace here. Is Alberta. Jatinder Pal Mataru keeping himself for the latter overs, but he might need to bring himself into the attack here soon if this keeps going. Not to be this time around, as Moaz Kazi is going to continue from the north end. Kazi 9 off his first over. Yasub Haq tried all his innovations, but only managing the 1-6 off him. He's got to come back strong here as Moaz Kazi. This one quicker through the air, but cut through point. This is going to run away to the boundary. The chase from Harpreet Singh in vain as Kanwarman finding the gap between the 2 men. So another boundary. That's 3 boundaries in a row for Alberta. And they're going well here. They're making this look easy. Manitoba desperately need a wicket here, Manali.
Desperately is correct. Yasub Haq going very well, and Munn now starting to open his account quite comfortably. And that again is short, outside off, and Munn knows that he has missed out. I am very surprised Matharu, the captain's, not brought himself on, especially with this partnership flourishing as it is. Bowled in the block hole as that is dug out by Munn for a quick single. RC, are you a little surprised that the captain hasn't brought himself on yet?
You see Yasub Haq walking across his crease. He's got the baggy green on, and this is great batting. No fielders inside the ring, finding the gap and pushing him for 2. Great cricket there from Yasub Haq. Kanwar Man well alert to what was happening. 46 off 30, and you're 100% right. I'm very surprised Jatinder Paul Matharu hasn't brought himself on. They can't keep this for too late. They've got 3 men behind square on the offside for Yasub Haq. And going across the stumps again, sweeping this time. Not quite getting the bat on it that he would have liked, just managing the single. Yeah, would like to see Jatinder Paul Matharu come into the attack. He's got to leverage all 4 of his overs. Can't leave himself too late. But I'm also surprised at this field, Manali. 3 men behind square on the offside. Really not leaving Kazi with much room for error here. As this one again straight and hit out to the deep mid wicket fielder. They're going to keep pushing him. They're going to keep pushing him. And they come back for an easy 2. This is great batting from Alberta. And I've got to say, not great captaincy from Matharu.
Yeah, very disappointing after the knock that he had with the bat. Certainly needed to lead the bowling from the top as well. But this is very impressive batting, and not just that, but the running between the wickets has been fantastic from these 2. They are turning singles into doubles. They're pushing the fielders hard and quite comfortably turning singles into doubles. Alberta 101 for 2 after 11. It just needs 71 more, 54 deliveries to do that, but going at a healthy strike rate of 9.1. The wicket, unfortunately, has not had much of an effect on Alberta's batting at all. They've been able to pick up exactly where they left off with the previous wicket, and Kanwar Man, the captain of Alberta, doing a fine job supporting Huck, who is just 3 deliveries away from, or 3 runs away from his half century. Currently on 47 off 31. As Sharma comes in to bowl his last over of his spell. And that's full. Some more innovation shown from Huck, and a play and a miss that was outside the off-stump line. A little bit quicker through the air, and that's hit out. Oh, and fantastic stuff from the point fielder, as that's a direct hit. No harm done. They were safe, but they do run through for a second run for the overthrows as the ball ricochets off the stumps. Yasub Haq on 49, just 1 run away from a half century in what has been an incredible innings with the bat. Started a little bit slow, played a supporting role with Spores. Oh, and that's flighted quite full as that's chipped down to the long on fielder for a single, and that's his half century. Yasub Haq, 50 runs for him, half a century off just 33 deliveries, 6 fours, 1 6. Alberta will be happy with this effort from Huck. Kanwarman just playing that down to the square leg region for a single. Sarbjot Singh, the keeper, giving a chase. Not in the mood to wait for that square leg fielder to come in. And that's full. And that's going to be out. Unfortunate for Yasub Haq as he edges that straight to the point fielder, and Shivam Sharma picks up his second. A very good innings comes to an end for Yasub Haq as he has to walk back for his 50 off of 35 deliveries. Alberta 105 for 3 after 11.4 overs. RC, good wicket at a very good time.
Yeah, 50 and out for Yasub Haq. But a good, valuable innings for Alberta. He's got them on course after that early wicket coming in the first over. He's got them on course, so a well-played hand. Now, it is going to be Jignesh Raval. Jignesh Raval to join the captain, Kanwarman. And it's down to these two. He is wearing number 15. My favorite number, Manali. It's a number that I used to wear, so I do have a little soft spot for anybody who wears the number 15, and I like to see Jignesh Raval do well here. So 105 for 3 now and 11.5. 67 runs to go, 49. The required run rate, they're ahead of it. So it shouldn't be too much of a hassle here, but again, they've got to bat well. There is a little bit of turn. We saw that on the last delivery. Yasub Haq looking to go across the line, only managing to pop that up to point. But Shivam Sharma, he's come back well in this spell. He's gone for a few, but he's bowled well. And this one now, quicker through the air to the new man, just managing to hit it back down. So again, at the end of the 12 overs, Alberta 105 for 3, 67 runs required in 48 deliveries. We saw the last game last night, Manali, go right down to the wire. I have a little bit of a feeling. One more wicket here could really throw a cat amongst the pigeons. And we were asking for him. We were saying, where is he? Where is the captain? Jatinder Paul Mataru coming into the attack now for Manitoba. And this is the spell, Manali. This is the make or break spell here for Manitoba.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I've been waiting for this spell myself. Still feel like maybe an over or two too late, but that previous wicket definitely changes the equation as a very set batsman. Huck had to depart as Sharma picked up his second wicket. Matharu, of course, bowled extremely well in the first game that we saw this morning, and he is bowling to the very experienced Kanwarman. But certainly the Alberta batsmen are going to have to watch the bowling very closely. Kanwarman just playing that to the offside for a single. RC, when you used to bowl, were you a variation-based bowler or raw pace?
Yeah, raw pace maybe when I was 17, 18, and by raw pace I mean about 75 miles per hour. So I had to use all the tricks in my toolkit to get through. But Jatinder Paul Mataru, that looked like a very, very, very stiff delivery, that first delivery. Let's see this. Again, there's that delivery that we were asking for, and again leads to the downfall of Jignesh Raval. That leg cutter, that's what we've come to know Jatinder Paul Mataru for. Jignesh Raval not reading it, and again popped up straight to third man. And again, I said it a little while ago, Manali, there is some trouble brewing. Where was Jatinder Mataru this entire time? But he's there now, and he takes a wicket early in his spell.
Certainly does. The new man going for a duck, unfortunately not troubling the scorecard at all as he walks back for 0 runs off his 2 deliveries. And the next man in, Jagandeep Singh. Getting a little bit of advice from the captain out there in the middle to watch the arm. Watch for the cutters, watch for the slower balls. RC Kunwarman, I'm assuming, has played against Matharu in the past when they were playing for Canada. That looked like a cutter again, a leg cutter. Played comfortably to the offside for a single. And Jagandeep Singh off the mark.
Yeah, Kunwarman looking very cautious against Jatinder Mataru, and that's what he needs to do. Can't give Mataru more wickets. They've got to go and run a ball against Mataru. 24 runs off his 4 overs. And the rest of the runs are going to have to come from the other end. That's the way I would play it if I was out there. But again, that's why I was a bowler and not a batsman, Manali. So we'll see how they play it. The new man in. Again, another slower ball. Fuller this time, driven out to the point region, and they're going to be able to come back for 2. So going at a run a ball, there is Jatinder Mataru, and that's what I think they need to do against them. Don't give him any wickets. Go at a run a ball, and we'll get the runs from the other end, where it's a little bit easier. But I like the way that he's digging this ball in. I don't want him getting too full. Dig this ball in. Roll your fingers down the seam. Very hard to play. Very hard to get him away at that length. See again, dug in, this time at full speed. And Jagandeep hit it out to the deep. And it's beaten the man there. Jagandeep not taking my advice, saying, I don't care who you are, I'm going to take you on. And beautiful, coming, dancing down the track is Singh and hitting him over the mid-wicket region for 4. And just helping the cause, calming the nerves there in the Albertan change room. Brilliant batting there by Jagandeep Singh.
Yeah, fantastic. He's just come out to bat, and he's certainly taken the attack to the bowler, putting Matharu under some pressure. Playing that to the offside for a single, and at the end of the 13th, Alberta 113 for 4. Sorry, 114 for 4. Matharu not as successful as we saw him with his first over this morning, RC. Perhaps going against a more experienced batting side.
No, he looks stiff. I have to say, Manal, he looks stiff. Not quite running in with the pace that he did earlier this morning. Not hitting the deck as hard as he did this morning. He did get that wicket, but I have to say he does look stiff out there. So maybe that's why we didn't see him early on in this innings. But he's going to have to play a crucial role if Manitoba is going to get over the line. They need a couple more wickets here. Jagandeep Singh has started off well. 7 off 3 for him with the boundary. Kunwarman 19 off 14 with 2 boundaries to his name, as we see Amrinder Dhillon back into the attack. And these two, it's going to be down to these two. 6 overs left for Mataru and Dhillon. These are their 2 most senior bowlers, and they're going to have to do a job here in the back end of this innings. Jagandeep on strike, and he's not going to waste any time, is he? He's giving it his all. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at this. That looks to be the type of batsman that he is. He wants to get home in a hurry. The light's fading here, Manali, and Jagandeep is in a rush. There, that one's pitched up. Hit over the offside this time. Luckily for him, not finding the elevation, as a man falls 2 bounces to him out to long off. So again, Singh looking good here early in his innings, looking to attack the bowlers. Kunwarman playing a good solid captain's knock here, 19 off 14, but he's got to continue. He's got to watch this innings out to the end.
Yes, certainly he does. There've obviously been quite a few games so far in this tournament, a lot more games to come. You say Matharu looks stiff. He certainly played this morning, and he batted very well in the first innings of this game. I'm sure that has an effect, especially if you're not playing as often as what we're going to be seeing this week. Oh, that's short, wide. Looks to be like there might have been something on there from the reaction of the bowler. A quicker one through the air, just played down the leg. Kanwarman looking for a second. They ran the first one hard. But they stick to one run as the throw comes in quite flat to the keeper. 2 deliveries in the over. Flighted delivery full, and that is hit down to the long on fielder, and unfortunately he cannot stop that. That is hit beautifully. Jagandeep Singh, he is going very, very well here. On 12 off of just 6 deliveries and 2 fours. Amrinder Dhillon, 1 delivery to go in the over, asking his long on fielder to come around and stay on the boundary. Short outside off, and that is cut. There is protection out there, and this is excellent running. 2 runs taken off of that last delivery for Amrinder Dhillon. Alberta 122 for 4 after their 14 overs. RC, just 50 runs required for Alberta, 36 deliveries, lots of wickets in hand. Alberta the favourites.
Alberta certainly the favourites from here. 6 wickets in hand, 50 runs to go. Jagandeep Singh has been impressive in this short innings. 14 off 7, 2 boundaries to his name. But the intent has been strong. He's come out attacking. And Kanwarman happy to just rotate the strike. Jatinder Paul Mataru, the captain, he's got to do something here. He's able to pick up a wicket. Looked stiff in his first over. It is warm out there. Manali shouldn't be stiff now. He's a young man, strong man. Mataru needs to do a job for his team here. They're looking to him. He's got 3 overs left from that end. He needs to pick up a couple of wickets. The slower ball again, the leg cutter dug in, and this one Kanwarman finds the boundary. That's not the way Mataru wanted to start that over, Manali. As Kanwarman, that's short, and he's hit that away to square leg for 4. Eases the pressure quite a bit for the over. Get a boundary early in the over. It eases the pressure for the required rate. Great start to the over from Alberta.
RC, we were asking for Mataru to come on. And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be one of their most expensive bowlers. He's certainly, he put up his hand with the batting. He's got to put up his hand with the bowling. His team is counting on him. Just 46 runs off of 35 balls needed for Alberta. Manitoba cannot afford to give away free boundaries. And that's dug in deep, short. Good carry to the keeper, and a very, very important dot ball for Manitoba. Kanwarman batting on 24 off of his 18 deliveries. 3 fours to him. Oh, and that's very well bowled. Very, very well bowled. Completely playing all around the delivery. Kanwarman just couldn't read that ball from Mataru. Oh, and there's definitely a nick there, and that is a wicket for Mataru. Very, very needed wicket. And Kanwarman, the captain of Alberta, unfortunately falling to the captain of Manitoba. It was caught behind by the keeper, and Kanwarman walking back for 24 runs of the 20 deliveries that he's faced. This is a crucial partnership that's been broken for Alberta, and they lose their captain, RC. Got some work to do as Sukhdeep Brar walks in. Not as successful with the ball this the first innings of this game. Now he's got to go out there and do the job with the bat.
Certainly he does. He's more than capable. High score of 25 for Canada. So again, capable with the bat. Again, he hasn't played that many games, so I know if people will be saying high score of 25 doesn't sound like much. And you're playing at the international level, 25. It's a fair amount of runs for a lower order bat, mainly a bowler as well. So again, Mataru seemed to have taken that 4 personally from Kanwarman off that first delivery. We haven't seen a slower ball for him yet in the 3 concurrent deliveries. He's gone back to pace, and I like to see it. He's digging a lot more shoulder now. He's digging this ball into the wicket, and I like to see it. And again, there it is again, digging this ball in. Sukhdeep Brar able to get off the mark there off his first delivery. So again, a promising over with that first ball. Mataru has come back strong here. Just 5 runs off the over so far. This is the over Manitoba needed. They needed a wicket. They needed that wicket of the captain, Kanwarman. But here's the danger man, Jagandeep Singh. It's down to him now. 14 off 7 for him so far. 2 boundaries in that. Did come down the track last over to Mataru. We'll see if he wants to do it again. This time staying in his crease. Looking for that single. Not quite there. Run out chance. Mataru, all happening on that delivery there, Manali. So at the end of 15, Alberta 127 for 5. The required rate has crept up just a little bit. 45 needed off 30 deliveries. 9 runs and over. I'd say Alberta still possibly the favorites here. But one more tight over from Manitoba, and this could get really tight.
I think this game's going to go down to the wire. And that wicket that Mataru picked up, his second, certainly helping that cause, as we saw the captain of Alberta getting picked up by Mataru. Jagandeep Singh wanted to get down to the other end before that last delivery because he knows he has to be on strike if Alberta have a chance of winning this. Sukhdeep Brar, of course, he's just come out to bat 1 off 1 delivery. However, the more experienced batsman, Jagandeep Singh, he knows he's going to play a pivotal role. That's quicker through the air, but short, outside off. One bounce to the fielder, out and covers. And Sukhdeep Brar off strike, bringing Jagandeep Singh. Amrinder Dhillon bowling his 3rd over. Gone for 23 in 2.1 overs so far. Oh, and that's slow, flighted, and Jagandeep Singh getting an underedge onto his pads. Quicker delivery, short, and that is going to be out. Unfortunate for Jagandeep Singh, he has to walk back. Certainly surprised by the pace on that delivery from Dhillon. Beaten by pace, and he swung at it hard, but just handed a fairly simple catch to the cover fielder as he walks back. 14 off of 10 deliveries. And the new man in, Gurinder Tandi. Alberta 128 for 6 after 15.3. Dhillon getting a much needed breakthrough, a much needed wicket for Manitoba. And Alberta under some pressure here. These are the wickets that you were talking about, RC, that would certainly swing things in the direction of Manitoba.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely swung them the other way. Manitoba on top now. A couple of quick wickets, a couple of quiet overs here for Alberta. The other thing to make note of, Manali, I've just been overhearing a conversation that's been going off to the right of us. The over rate has been very slow. So that's something to keep in mind. There is penalties for a slow over rate. They've got to get that final over in. So we'll keep an eye on that. But with that, Amrinder Dhillon picking up the important wicket of Jagandeep Singh. And now the new man, another dot ball. So here's where the pressure builds. 2 new men at the crease. Gurinder Tandi just faced his first ball for a dot ball. Sukhdeep Brar 2 off 2. There's experience there for Sukhdeep Brar, but Tandi under a little bit of pressure here early in his innings. Amrinder Dhillon not giving this ball any air. Not giving the ball any flight whatsoever. Digging that into the wicket. Bowling it full. Saying try and get under it if you can. 128 for 6 and 15.5. This has been a brilliant spell here for his second spell from Amrinder Dhillon. Quicker in the air again. Another dot ball. So a great over there from Amrinder Dhillon. Alberta now 128 for 6 after 16. Just one run off that over. Manitoba is cock-a-hoop here. You can hear the noise. They're pumped. They feel as though on top. And Manali, I've got to say at this stage, I feel they are. 128 for 6 after 16. 44 runs required, 24 balls to go.
Yeah, they certainly are very excited and very on top of this game. As in comes in Matharu, slower delivery. And played to the offside by Brar for a single. It was quite entertaining to watch Dhillon run to his fielding position after he bowled the last ball. He certainly looked as if he had won the game already, just running along like a happy gazelle. Very entertaining to watch. Tharu giving it a little bit of extra pace there, and that is a good quick single for the Alberta batsman as Thundy gets off the mark with a single. Matharu holding himself back till the 13th over. He's come in bowling his third right now for 16 runs, picked up 2 crucial wickets. And that's bowled very full. Looking to get 2 runs, and they do. This is excellent running, putting the fielders under pressure. Brar picks up 2 crucial runs for Alberta. 42 runs required. 40 runs required off 21 deliveries. Oh, and that's a full toss. Driven beautifully down to point, but the fielder does very well to restrict that to 2 runs. Good stuff out there in the deep.
You said Amrinder Dhillon ran like a gazelle to his fielding position. He ran like a gazelle after that ball there. Manali chasing that one down. Sukti Brar, 4 runs after the last 2 deliveries. He's got to be the man now for Alberta. He's got to take him home. This one, another slower ball. Well disguised there from Matharu. And Sukti Brar gets off strike. Again, this is going to go right down to the wire, I think, here, Manali. Only 4 wickets left in hand for Alberta. Matharu's come back strong for his team here. 2 for 20 now off his 2.4. I said he's got to go about a run and over. They're doing better than that. But the 2 wickets, that's the danger zone now. Only 4 wickets left in the hut. Don't know what Alberta has in the tank. As we see Thundy face up. This one, he looks to swing, just going over the stumps. Again, the slower ball not being read there by Thundy. Matharu, a great over from him. 7 runs off it, but very well bowled, adding extra pressure to the Albertan innings. The score now 135 for 6 off 17. When only 37 runs needed off 18. They're going to need a couple boundaries. They need at least a boundary and over, to say the least.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as you mentioned that, RC. I mean, the singles and the doubles are good. However, I'm more interested to see if these guys have what it takes to clear the boundary, because the singles and the doubles might not get them over the line here. Dhillon coming in for his final over of his spell. He's bowled beautifully so far. And that's quicker through the air, a swing and a miss. Sukti Brar trying to get bat on ball. Quicker again, and that's played out to the offside. It's high, and unfortunately for Manitoba, that's going to go for 4. That was picked up beautifully and hit in the gap. There is protection out there, but Sukti Brar bisected the field perfectly. And then the Dhillon is going to finish. He's going to have to finish strong here if Manitoba have a chance of reeling this game in. Certainly coming down to the wire. Alberta 139 off of 17.2. And slower delivery, flighted. And that's hit down the ground by Brar for a single. Single is not going to bother Manitoba too much, but they have to try and limit as many boundaries as they can, RC.
Yeah, absolutely. The boundaries are what's going to cause them trouble. But again, five runs now off 3 deliveries from Ryan Dillon. They've got to finish this over strong to Alberta if they want to have any hope of winning this game. Quicker through the air again. This time it's hit through the offside. There is cover out there. It's going to find the man. So just a single, but importantly for Alberta, it gets Brar back on strike. Gurinder Tandi can't afford any dot deliveries. He's got to keep rotating the strike. He's 2 off 6. But as I said a little bit earlier, Manali, Sukdeep Brar, he's got to be the man. 2 deliveries left. What can he do in this over? Flighted delivery, hit down, and there's a man there. It's going to find cover on the 30-yard circle. Just going to be a single. So again, a good comeback from Dillon. Good comeback from Deliver, varying his pace in this over. He's got 1 delivery left in his spell. 142 for 6 off 17.5. He's got to finish this over off strong. For Alberta, they're going to be looking for a boundary. Coming down the track, he's hit this high in the air. The fielder coming across. It's going to bisect them. That's the boundary that they were looking for. Gurinder Tandi come down the track, hitting that straight down the ground for 4. That's the shot they needed, Manali.
Certainly the shot that they needed, and you were right. As you had mentioned, Thundy cannot afford dot balls, and he certainly delivers with a boundary there. Did a good job hitting it as straight as he did, and Alberta 146 for 6 at the end of the 18th. 12 deliveries to go, 26 runs needed. And Matharu, the captain, coming in for his final over of his spell. This is going to be a crucial over from him as Brar takes strike. Slower ball, miscued. Oh my goodness, and just over the point fielder. Matharu not happy with that effort. However, that was hit well, and it was sailing over the point fielder, and that is another 4 runs. 4 very, very crucial runs to Alberta. And with that comes up 150 for Alberta. 150, 18.1 overs. Matharu quicker this time, and unfortunately that's picked up beautifully by Brar. Fantastic effort in the deep by the deep cover fielder as he throws it in, and good effort. However, that is excellent running, and those are 2 very hard, 3 very hard runs.
Yeah, it's a great start to the over. 7 runs off 2 deliveries. That's exactly what Alberta would have hoped for. You can see their camp. They're all standing. Mataru in for the 3rd delivery to Tandi. Slower ball, full toss, hit straight down the ground. It's just going to be a single. Works out well for them as, again, gets the right man, Brar, back on strike. But the interesting thing to note here, Manali, is who's going to bowl the 20th over. Mataru can't bowl from both ends. He's ending his 4th over. Amrinder Dillon is done. 1 for 34 off his 4. They've got to get this down into the low teens to give themselves a shot. Mataru quick again. Brar finding the gap on the offside. Going to be another single. So 155 now off 18.4. Manali, who's going to bowl that 20th over? That all crucial 20th over.
Matharu certainly thinking about his bowling, thinking about his final bowler. 17 runs off 8 deliveries needed for Alberta. As Matharu comes in, slower delivery. Good delivery, just a single off that ball as Thandi cannot get that away. One delivery left in this over. Matharu done a decent job so far. Gone for a few in this over, but picked up 2 crucial wickets along the way. Slower delivery, and that is edged. However, safely out onto the offside for a quick single, and 157 off of 6 after the 19th over. RC, we're down to the last over. 15 deliveries, 6 balls. This is going to be another tight game.
Yeah, 15 to win. 6 deliveries. It's coming down right to the wire. Manali, I called it early. He said this match is going to come right down to the wire, and it certainly has done so. We saw a great game last night for the third match. We're seeing another great match here between Alberta and Manitoba. When we asked who it was going to be, it is going to be Mandeep Saini and Sukhdeep Brar to face the man that they need to face majority of the deliveries in this final over. He's got to find a boundary early. Got to find a boundary early in this over. Has Sukhdeep Brar. What are his options? Mandeep Saini in. Slower ball, hit over the top. It's hit over the top. There is a man there, but it's going to go all the way for 6. That's the shot that they wanted. The Albertan camp is everyone's up. That's the boundary they wanted, and Sukhdeep Brar delivers. That one was pitched up, slower delivery, but right in the slot. And that's the shot that they wanted. 9 runs now makes this chase a little bit easier, Manali.
It certainly does. 5 deliveries to go, just 9 runs to get. That's pitched up and driven straight to the cover fielder as they come through for a very crucial single. This does bring Thandi back on strike. He did start slow, but he has definitely found his groove in the last over. Mandeep Saini, very expensive in his first over, but now he's been given the responsibility to bring Manitoba home. Unfortunately, that's going to be a wide delivery. Not at all what Manitoba need at this stage, RC.
No, certainly not. Got to make Alberta earn every single run here. Absolutely have to make them earn every single run. Thandi, he's almost got a license here. He's got to either get off strike or hit one down to the boundary. As you see Saini running in. This one's slow again. Hit straight down the ground. This is going to go all the way. This is going to go all the way for Thandi, and that's a beautiful shot from him. And Alberta almost home. Just 3 runs required now. Just 3 runs to go off. 3 runs required off 3 balls. Manali, they needed 15 at the beginning of this over. They only need 3 now, managing 12 off the first 3 deliveries. Said they needed to get it into the teens for the last over. Mandeep Saini opening the bowling, bowled the second over of the match, asked to come back into the attack and bowl the 20th, and he hasn't hit the mark yet. See him running in. This one hit down the ground, hit through the covers. There is a fielder there that's going to cut it off, so single. 2 off 2, Manali. 2 off 2.
2 off 2, and certainly favoring Alberta at this point. Mandeep Saini, unfortunately, just hasn't had the second over he would have hoped for. The batsmen go down, have a chat, just discussing, not much risk needed at this point. Got to hold on to those wickets, and they should sail home. Saini coming in, slower ball. Bowled very full into the block hole, and Alberta run through for another single. Scores tied, RC. Scores tied, 1 delivery to go, 1 run needed. Thandi on strike.
1 run to go, 1 ball to go, tie game. The light's fading. Dare I say super over, Manali? Dare I say it? Mandeep Saini needs to come up with a dot ball. Every man in the ring. Strong offside field. Saini into Thandi. And this one's hit down the ground. They're going to take off. Sukhdeep Brar has lost his ball. He's out. It is a super over. It's going to go down to a super over, Manali. It's a tie game. They brought it right down to the wire. Sukhdeep Brar lost his bat in the action. But Thandi not able to pierce the field. Brilliant thinking, underhand throw to Saini, and Saini has run him out. Saini wasn't too happy after the first 2 deliveries, or first 3 deliveries in that over. But they can certainly be happy now as this game is tied. And ladies and gentlemen, with the light fading, we're going to have a super over. Manali, I'm going to catch my breath. What do you have to say about all the action so far?
We thought yesterday's game was close, RC, but this one definitely takes surprise. What an incredible game this has been. Certainly swayed from Manitoba to Alberta, Alberta to Manitoba, and we really thought that Alberta might have cruised home as Saini went for quite a few runs this over. However, Manitoba have been able to get a very crucial run out on the very last delivery. Super over was definitely not what I had in mind, RC, when we started this game, and here we are, umpires discussing out there. Of course, we'd mentioned the light is fading, cutoff time is close. We'll need to find out what the umpires decide here. However, a super over would be quite exciting, and looks like Alberta is going to be batting first. Manitoba stays on the field. We're in for a cracking super over, RC.
We certainly are. This has been an exciting game. Manali, my heart rate is up. I'm standing. This is very exciting. This is what we wanted out of the national championships, and it's certainly delivering. Manitoba, they were all but done when Jatinder Palmataru came into the attack. Amrinder Dillard joined him from the other end. Bowled a brilliant spell. They took the wicket. Sukti Brar brought the match back for Alberta. But again, just falling inches short of that win is Alberta. And Manitoba, Alberta had everybody. They had Matthew Spores in his sandals, Yasub Huck in his sandals. So we'll see who the three men are that are going to pad up for Alberta. We'll see. I have to say, it has to be Jatinder Palmataru for Manitoba. Alberta, possibly Matthew Spores, possibly Jagandeep Singh, possibly Yasub Huck. So it's going to be interesting to see who they decide to throw out there. But for Manitoba, it's got to be Jatinder Palmataru or Amrinder Dillard with the ball, you would say.
Yeah, certainly their top two bowlers today. As we go through the bowling figures, Kamal Mungli, 27 off of his 4 overs, picking up 1 wicket. Mandeep Saini, unfortunately, going for a whopping 26 runs off his 2 overs. Very expensive. Dylan, one of the pick of the bowlers, going for 34 runs in his 4 overs and picking up a wicket. Sharma also bowled very well, 31 for his 4 and picking up 2 wickets. And of course, Matharu, their captain, 2 crucial wickets to him as well, 4 for 32. Certainly got some decisions to make for both teams. Who's going to bat? Who's going to bowl? RC, just you can't change into your shorts and your flip-flops too early, can you?
Speak for yourself, Manali. The first thing I do when I step off the field is get into the shorts, put the flip-flops on. Don't want to spend more time in spice than you absolutely need to. As we see Manitoba out in the field, and it looks like it is going to be Jagandeep Singh, joined by Sukti Brar, it looks like, Manali. So again, the man that was just out there, the man that just hit a few boundaries for his team, took his team right down to the wire, scored 31 off 17, 2 4s and a 6. He's asked to go out there. And Jagandeep Singh played a hand in that chase. He's got to play a hand now in this super over. I was expecting to see Yasub Huck out there, Manali, so I'm a little bit surprised at this. But again, they know their men. They know their team better than I do. It's all to play for. And Manali, the other thing to take into account, the light is fading fast. You can see the shadows have almost taken over the ground here. It's going to be difficult. Half the wicket covered by shadows, half the wicket in sunlight. Jatinder Palmataru going to be bowling for Manitoba from the north end. It's not going to be easy. It's a tough time to bat now with the light fading. And it is going to be Sukti Brar on strike. He was able to get Mataru away for a few boundaries during the innings. He's now got to put him away for a few boundaries here in the super over.
For those of you just joining us live, we're at King City and we are about to start a super over for Alberta, for the Alberta-Manitoba game, as Matharu, the captain, comes in. A slower delivery, very full, as that's played down for just a single. You got to get those boundaries in, RC. Super over, 1 run, unfortunately, is not going to help Alberta's cause. Sukhdeep Brar was certainly going well with the bat before the innings finished. Jagandeep Singh, he was on fire before he got out, but here he is facing the second delivery of the super over. Slower ball again, very full, as they scamper through for a leg by. This is an excellent start to this over by Matharu, RC.
Yeah, great start to the over, but again, good intent shown from Alberta. Good aggressive running as well. They can't afford any dot balls. They've got to run through when they can. But this has been brilliant bowling. Finding that block hole is Matharu. As I mentioned, it can't be easy out there for the batsmen. They're standing in the sunlight. Matharu coming in through the shade. It's a dark background, white ball. Matharu is a tall man as well, so potentially coming over that sight screen as we see him run in for his third delivery. This one's short, and Sukhdeep Brar, that's the invitation he needed. This one's hit out, 1 bounce for 4. That's the boundary they were looking for. Sukhdeep Brar delivering for Alberta.
That was a fantastic shot, much needed for Alberta. A well-needed boundary, and Sukhdeep Brar certainly making up for what he lacked with his bowling this afternoon. Matharu had 2 very good deliveries early on, following it up with a short ball as he bowls in for his 4th, and that is cracked through the offside. There is a fielder there, and that is fielded beautifully. Some indecision, and that is kept to 1 run. Very good cricket all around.
Brilliant fielding on the boundary by Amrinder Dhillon. Good over so far. They're not getting away from him. 2 deliveries to go. They've got to find another boundary in this over. Jagandeep Singh on strike. Where are his scoring options? Stay still. And that's gone through. Kamaljot, who's fielded brilliantly so far, has let that one go through. The spin getting to him. That's gone to the point boundary for 4. We said, where is his scoring options? Through the hands of a fielder, it seems.
That is very, very unfortunate for Manitoba. Not the boundary that they would have hoped to give. And Matharu, 1 delivery left in the super over. Alberta on 11. Oh, that's a full toss, and unfortunately, that is going to go all the way for a There is some confusion whether it's a 6 or a 4. 4 given, umpire signal of 4, and a very expensive over at the end of that. 15 runs coming off of it. Alberta very happy with that effort, I would assume. RC, Manitoba's got to come out and bat out of their skins.
Yeah, 15. 3 boundaries in that. Jagandeep Singh and Sukhdeep Brar doing a job there for their team. 9 off 3 for Jagandeep. 6 off 3 for Sukhdeep Brar. But again, Matharu started the over off well, just lost the plot towards the end there. But now, this is going to be interesting. Manitoba were out there for 20 overs. Alberta sitting down. It's starting to get a little bit chilly here. The sun's starting to go. Alberta's been sitting down, so they're going to be cool. But they've got to make sure that they're on the ball to defend this 15. Who's going to bowl this over for Alberta? Manali, this is a great total. They needed 15 in that last over. They could have used that, and we would have needed a super over. Instead, they decided to get 15 in the super over.
Yeah, certainly. I think they just wanted to add excitement to an already very exciting game. Very impressed from Manitoba. Alberta, certainly the more experienced side here. However, Manitoba said, no, not today. We're going to show you that we are just as good, as they come out to bat in their super over. 16 runs to get. Alberta now heading onto the field. Lots of discussion out there. Alberta trying to figure out their bowling option, their field placements. And as you mentioned, RC, this is tough lighting to bat in with that sun setting right in front of us.
Yeah, also the other interesting part is it's going to be interesting to see which end they bowl from as well. Manitoba deciding to bowl from the north end. Jatinder Paul Mataru, all the overs he's bowled today in the first game and the second game and the super over have all been from the north end. Bowlers have the ends that they prefer. And the other thing, Manali, you haven't played in a super over before. You have to look in the eyes of the bowler. He's got to want to bowl this over. He's got to want to have the ball in his hands. And it looks like it's going to be Tajinder Singh. Didn't start off well with the ball today, but certainly ended off well in his spell, and they're asking him to do a job for this team. He's got 15 on the board to defend. So Tajinder Singh, in deciding to bowl from the other end, he's going to bowl from the south end, the commentators end, the pavilion end, whatever you want to call it here in King City, Ontario. And folks, thank you for joining us. This has been an absolute cracker. Coming to the end. The other thing to note here, Manali, who's going to come out to bat? Mataru, the captain, he bowled the over. He might have a job to do with the bat as well. Shivam Sharma looked good with the bat. Kamaljot looked good with the bat. Subjot, the keeper, looked good with the bat as well. So they've got options. They're going to need somebody who's going to be able to clear this boundary and get to 16 is what they needed to win. So we're taking a little bit of time here. And again, the sun is starting to really go. The ground almost entirely covered in shadows now. Just a few sun rays cracking through. And Manali, you can look at that wicket. There's shade in the middle and 2 rays of sunshine on either end. So again, not going to be easy. We've seen problems from this end with a sight screen as well. So potentially need that to be moved. It's all to play for here for Alberta and Manitoba. Stay tuned, folks, as we wait for the Manitoban batsman to come out. Tajinder Singh to bowl a super over. If you're just joining us, it was 171 for 9 that Manitoba, after winning the toss and electing to bat, managed 171 for 9. Alberta looked primed for the win at the halfway mark, losing some wickets midway through. Managed with the run out off the final ball with 1 run left to win. Managed 171 for 7. We went into the super over. Sukhdeep Brar and Jagandeep Singh managing 15 off that over. And now it's down to Manitoba. It is going to be Kamaljot Singh being joined alongside Jatinder Paul Mataru. He's done it all for them today. He's done it with the ball. He's done it with a bat. He's going to have to do it with a bat one more time here, Manali.
Yeah, certainly leading from the front. Matharu, great captaincy. And I think we're in for quite a cracker of a final super over here. Jatinder Singh bowling this over for Alberta. As you'd mentioned, RC slightly expensive in his first spell. However, he looks ready to go here. He looks ready to defend this total for his team. Singh to face the first delivery, and quick and full, and can't get any runs off of that. A big play and a miss. RC, the pressure's certainly going to be on these Manitoba batters right now.
Yeah, I like the tactic from Alberta. You know, when they went into bat for the super over, they sent the Sukhdeep Brar, who had just come out after making runs, so he was in there. The Manitoban batsmen can be cool. They haven't batted for a little while, as we see Tajinder Singh coming in for a second delivery. This one's hit through the offside. There is a man out there. Are they going to come back for 2? They are not. So just 1 run. Well bowled here from Tajinder Singh, bowling that wide Yorker. Just 1 run off 2 balls. And we've said his name multiple times today, Manali. Jatinder Paul Mataru, the captain for Manitoba. He seemed to be everywhere with the bat, with the ball. He's got 4 deliveries to make 15 runs. He's shown the ability. He didn't hit a boundary in his innings earlier. He only cleared the boundary. He's got to clear him for a couple here today in this super over.
He certainly does, RC. 15 runs needed off the final 4 balls of this super over. Alberta making sure that every fielder is in the right place before Tajinder Singh comes in for his 3rd delivery. Well, that's a slower ball and a play and a miss. And unfortunately, Matharu misses out, and that is a no ball. Very, very unfortunate for Alberta, and it is a free hit. Another delivery, a free hit. Exactly what Alberta do not need after 2 very good deliveries to start this over. Matharu, he's got the license here. That's quick, and another no ball. Oh dear. Tajinder Singh certainly putting the effort in. But 2 no balls. This is criminal, RC.
Absolutely criminal is correct, Manali. Another free hit. Matharu missed out. It was in the slot. It was length. The captain for Alberta standing right next to us. It's tense out there, Manali, as we see another free hit to Jatinder Paul. This one, only managing to drive it down the ground. Kamaljot going to look to come back for 2. He slips. He is coming back for 2. This is going to be run out. He is run out indeed. But what it does do is get him back on strike. The captain, Kamaljot, giving it all for his team, trying to come back for 2. He's quick, just not quick enough on this occasion.
Oh, that was 2 no balls, resulting in a wicket for Manitoba. Unfortunately, Kamaljot Singh not getting the runs that he was sent out there to get, and he has to walk back. He walks back for a duck. But as you said it, RC, we've got the man in form on strike, the captain of Manitoba, Matharu, looking to face the 4th delivery of this over. 12 runs needed. 12 runs needed, 3 deliveries to go. What does Tajinder Singh got in his tank? More importantly, does Matharu have what it takes to get a big one? Oh, and that's full and fast. They scamper through for a single, but unfortunately RC singles are not going to do it for Manitoba.
They certainly are not. And this is brilliant bowling from Tajinder Singh, finding the block hole. He overstepped twice in this over, but he's only gone for 5. 5 off 4 balls, so 11 to win. Shivam Sharma, he's got to put 2 over the rope here, Manali. Love to see him just put 1, this ball over the rope, make it a little bit more exciting. There's still some tension there. He has the ability, he's shown the ability. Shivam Sharma, he's got to clear these ropes. He knows this is going to be full. He knows this is going to be a Yorker. Tajinder Singh, he's pulled a heck of an over here. This one hit high, hit wide. It's going to beat the man, but it's only 4. It's only 4, Bonali. And now 7 runs to win. And dare I say it, could there be another super over? 7 runs to win, 6 runs to tie. Shivam Sharma, he's got to put this one over the ropes. He's got to put this over the ropes. I don't know if we have time for another super over, Manali. The light's gone. But Shivam Sharma, he's going to have to do it again. He's got to put this over the rope. Tajinder Singh has to ensure he stays behind the line. He's bowled 2 no balls in this over already. And here we go. And there's a dot ball. And there's a dot ball. And there's that win for Alberta. So anticlimactic at the end. But this has been an absolute heck of a game, Manali. It went down right to the wire. It went to the super over. And Alberta has come out trumps on top. 15 for no loss for Alberta in the super over. 9 for 1 for Manitoba in that super over. And boy, oh boy, what a game of cricket we just had.
What a game of cricket we just had. You said it, RC. This game had everything. We've seen some great batting, great bowling, some misfields. And unfortunately for Manitoba, a great effort not going their way. Alberta very happy to close this on a high. They did not expect to get the fight that they did from Manitoba. However, they've come out on top. Tejinder Singh going for 9 runs in that over. Despite the 2 no balls, he's able to hold Manitoba back, and a fantastic effort, a fantastic game from both sides. RC, quite the day. We've seen 3 games today. Another busy day tomorrow. How are you feeling after all of this?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad they keep these games, the close games, right to the end, because I would have lost my voice by now, Manali. 3 brilliant games of cricket. We bring you 3 brilliant games of cricket again tomorrow. We're hoping that the rain stays away. And this is Arslan Kadir and Manali Patel signing off from the Canadian National Championships. If you're in the area, come up to King City. Join us. And if you're tuning in from across Canada, we thank you. Thank you once again for tuning in. Arslan Kadir signing off. We'll see you tomorrow.